What's going on, guys? And welcome to SmokeBusters, another wonderful Wednesday night spent together for 2 whole hours as we talk about stories, motivation, success, terrors, and you name it. And today, before we get started, kind of want to do a little bit of a shout about what's going on. We are getting ready in September to head to New Jersey for the NECAN event. We also are raising money for Val and Dan's Grow Shop, Little Witches Garden Shop. They're in Arizona. Right now, we have raised in just a week almost, I think, of just under $1,600. They need $2,000 by the 10th. And I am on a mission to make sure that you guys donate. You can donate to either my Cash App or directly to theirs, and their Cash App and links are on the videos that are tagged with them. But community, we need you guys to keep them in business because when I go to Arizona in February, I need somewhere to go. And they just rearranged their shop, and it's really cool. Plus, I want to shout out AC Infinity for one, being such a great company, but two, our tent and everything has been amazing. And with them being a silver sponsor of the road show, really helping us get out there with our boots on the ground, with our booth. We really can't do it without them and all the other great sponsors. So I'm going to introduce my guest now. This is really cool. As the SmokeBusters podcast is really starting to take off, I'm starting to include a lot of people that are typically in and out of the cannabis scene, whether they're active users, supporters, or they just, have a common interest. And what's cool is Dustin, I just left my 212 group because it just wasn't the environment that I need to be in. I'm not finding the people that I need to surround myself with. But before I left, I met Dustin, and Dustin works with a company down here in Fredericksburg, and he's an awesome dude. So welcome to the show, my dude.
Thanks for having me.
So one of our biggest things with SmokeBusters is mental health, home growing, and ultimately smoking.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're a man of sobriety, and I can't wait to talk about that. But before we do, talk a little bit, you don't have to name names of your companies, but talk a little bit about who you are today, and where have we wound up as far as Dustin?
Sure. So today I am part owner in a plumbing company.
Yep.
We're thriving. We're doing great. Numbers go up every year. We've implemented some new platforms to excel us to that next level, and that's going great. I have, my personal things that I do, a little bit of hobbies. I'd like to work out. Other than that, I just do a lot of work and family, and balancing all those is, the problem everybody has in life. So I'm currently just trying to live life and trying to chase the next goal, man. That's really what it is.
Well, and I love that because, and I've been talking a lot about this lately. I just feel like some people, they get to a level and then they just kind of cease to exist. They just stop and they're like, okay, this is the top. This is everything that I've wanted to do. Yeah. And then I'm done, and the asking for more, the development, the seeking, the being ruthless, being, I just learned it today, PhD, which is, poor, oh shit, something determined, poor, I can't forget, the middle PhD. I can't remember what H stands for, but I was like, damn, I have my PhD, and so do you. Sure. That consistency and that being
that dog mentality. Yep. Yeah, I gotta go. Nothing's ever enough. Get out of my way.
Yeah. So let's dive it all back. I want to dive back to where kind of this all started. I think a lot of this things that we go through happen when we're young, and they evolve. And, they either get better or they get worse as we go. And then I think a lot with self-discovery and everything. So let's start talking about him.
Okay. So I was an addict before I even took a drug, in my opinion. And this is my experience. Everybody's got their own experience. But for me, I believe I was an addict before, like I said, before I even took the first drug. Doing things when I was younger to alter my a perception of what was real, what was what I thought I had to do for people to enjoy being around me, enjoy my time, stuff like that. Just not happy with yourself, stuff like that. So all the way down to starting fires when I was little, just to see it burn, just to put it out again, just to start, stuff like that. People don't think about. I think really affects why were you doing that? Why did you feel the need to do that? Because it made you feel a certain type of way.
Yeah.
Right. So doing things to make you feel that personal gratification, seeking it from others. And so it really, for me, it didn't have too much to do, I believe, with my home situation or anything like that. Parents were cool. We had a good childhood. We did a lot of playing in the woods, as kids did back then. And nowadays it's more, inside, which is fun. We gotta grow or we die, progress or we die. So we moved from the woods into the inside the houses for the kids. But I feel for the most part, it's, some people, I've always wondered what separated, and I've heard it said before, but I've always wondered what separated the habitual user from the recreational user, right? So I was a habitual from the get-go. There was no way to get around that. So as soon as I started to dabble with cigarettes, and once again, even cigarettes altered the way I would think, made me think I was cool, made me feel a part of something, a part of someone, a part of who it made me feel complete, stuff like that, so.
I started smoking cigarettes at a young age because me and my friend who died of a heroin overdose behind a trash can. Now, the person that died behind the trash can and the person I was friends with were two different people. You know what I mean? He did some really fucked up shit towards the end of his life.
Yeah.
And they didn't even have a funeral for him. So that shows you how fucked up it was. But one of those things is, I think the sense of feeling. I was just at dinner earlier, right before I came here, with the guy who's doing a documentary on this lady's mom who lived in Vietnam during the big, communism era.
Yeah.
And even with herself, the same thing, whether it was living in the concentration camps, that she lived in before she got to America, or being in abusive relationships, the sense of the numbing sense that comes in where you just want to feel something and you don't care if it's good or if it's bad.
Sure.
The type of shit, like, the Britney Spears shave your head off, just for something, some gratification. Because I just feel like, in the sense, and especially adolescents, there's a sense of entrapment. You can't make your own decisions. Sometimes you're subjected to your realities and environments based on the grown-ups around you. And I think that carries a lot of weight. Do you reckon with that a lot?
Yeah. I can agree with a lot of that. And when it comes to being a kid, you just want to, you do want your freedom, right? And on the other side of that, being a parent, I have a child of my own, an 11-year-old, and I try to make the right decisions. You never know if you are making the right decisions, like you're talking about letting them be free and like make decisions and mistakes and stuff like that. So it's difficult to find that line. And as you're a kid, it's easy to cross the line, and go on the other side and start. Okay, well, if I'm not gonna get it, and I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it myself, And I think so. With addicts, it's so strange because as an addict, man, like some people may look at addicts like they're lazy, they're no good, they're trifling, and they are a lot of those things. But what they also are is they're driven.
Yeah,
they're driven, man. They're gonna hit the lick, whatever lick they got to get to the fix, and they're gonna make it happen. However, they're gonna steal your wallet and help you find it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is actually true.
That's what they're gonna do, and so they're very motivated. But once you break that, once you get out of that, you turn that motivation into something positive or to something productive. It changes. So you realize, holy shit, what do all successful people have in common?
I think it's their grit, the determination that no matter what happens, they're going to stay consistent.
Yeah, confidence.
Yeah,
they all got confidence in common. So without confidence, you don't got much of anything. So once you leave that addiction, you start to build that confidence again. You're like, holy shit, man, I can use this stuff other ways.
Yeah,
and our addiction manifests itself, right? So for me, it could be, for a long time, it was training, working out. Man, that's all I did. It's all I thought about. It's all I wanted to do. It consumed my life. And like, once again, balance in life is very difficult. Work, home, family. Addicts are usually 100% one thing, and everything else is pretty much fucked.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to balance that. But our addiction manifests itself, and sometimes it could be working out, it could be eating Cheetos, it could be playing video games. I mean, fuck, man, it could just go on, and that's what it'll do. So
it's funny you say the Cheetos, because even though that is kind of funny, it does show you that addiction doesn't have to mean like intravenous drugs. It doesn't have to mean a junkie in the corner. It can literally be like my 9-year-old who watches gaming, plays gaming, listens to gaming, falls asleep to gaming.
Or something weird like that, chalk or whatever. Some wild shit.
So let's dive in. So growing up, like, what would you now? Do you believe in like gateway drugs, like one thing led to another, or do you believe that you chose to go down different routes with different substances?
So when it comes to a gateway drug, I don't necessarily believe that the drug is the gateway. It's the people that are around the drug. So I smoking weed didn't make me want to do cocaine, but the people that were around that weed drew me into cocaine or LSD or mushrooms or, pills or whatever the case is. It's not like I smoked weed and I was like, oh man, now I want to do some cocaine. You know what I mean? It's just the people that are, it's the group, you know what I mean? And then that group usually knows, I mean, there's always bad people in every group, so you mix up with the bad people. So no, I don't necessarily believe in the drug itself being the gateway. I believe that it's the people who hold the drug.
You ever seen the movie where they make fun of the Johnny Cash movie? And they're like, what are you doing in there? And it's like, we're smoking ganja. Is it addictive? No, it's non-habit forming. Is it cheap? It's the cheapest drug on the planet. And it's like, can I try some? And then I don't know if you saw it in the movie.
I'm trying to remember, what movie was that? Walk the Line?
Walk Hard.
Walk Hard. That's what it was. Yeah. With
and they're like, you don't want none of this. And they're like, I think I do want some of this.
Yeah. Hold on, man. I think I do. Yeah. Yeah. It was the black dude. What's the guy's name from Mad TV?
That guy.
He was hilarious. The guy saying, you don't want none of this. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how is that? Like when you were experiencing like new substances, like in your mind of an addict, right?
No.
How do you perceive the stepping stones? Like how do you go from A to B to C?
How do I go from A to B to C?
I'll start with smoking cigarettes at a young age. I did that too.
Yeah.
I actually didn't
snake and beers from my parents' cooler, and then it goes from there. Yeah, snake and beer.
Trying to get your friends to buy you alcohol, falling asleep, because you got drunk in your room.
Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So with that being said, like for me, like with weed, right? So when I first started smoking weed, and feel free to, if you want to talk to any of these comments.
Tim Meadows, that's who it was. Yeah, Tim Meadows.
But like for me with smoking weed, the first time I ever smoked weed, I was 13 years old, and I didn't get high off of it, and everybody else did. And I was like, this is fucking stupid, because I didn't believe them that you could get high. I just thought everybody was making shit up, because like, I'm not high.
Sure.
It wasn't until I was 23 and I was actually quitting cigarettes, and I was like, well, I could get high if I smoke weed, because I love the oral fixation, bringing the smoke in, blowing it out, watching the smoke come out. So for me, it's more of like an oral fixation thing.
I get it.
But with that, I've never said, you know what? This isn't cutting me.
Let me do some cocaine.
Let me do some meth.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work in your mind? Like, how would the stepping stone go?
So, okay. So how did I progress?
Exactly.
How did I progress?
When is something not enough anymore, and you're kind of like, you know what? I want to get a little bit curious. I want to see if something else would work for me. I guess.
So it's not that it was. I don't think that it was. So okay. So my DOC changed, and if you don't know, DOC is drug of choice.
Okay.
My DOC changed all the time. It would change, but I would always do everything. I was especially if I was sick. I'm going to do anything I can to make me not be sick anymore.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things I would do. So when it came to so in the beginning, I don't think that it became a thing where like weed wasn't enough or alcohol wasn't enough. It just became a thing where like, yo, I'm at a party, somebody's got some ecstasy, I'm going to take it just because I want to, because I want to try it. I want to see what it's like. And that's who I was, you know what I mean? So, I think not to a certain point when they started elevating. I think when my drugs started like moving up, I would say like the difference between Adderall and crystal meth, or pills, opiates, and heroin.
Mm-hmm.
So those two, it's like, okay, I need to elevate now. But all the other drugs, there was nothing that was ever like a thing where I was like, this isn't enough. I just like, fuck it, I'm willing to do that too. I mean, there's not, like I said, I think PCP is the only thing I haven't done, you know? And so like you said, what are some drugs you've done? I was like, it's easier to tell you the ones I haven't.
Yeah. You actually do have that in the text message.
yeah. So, and I think PCP is the only one. So
let's talk about the lifestyle breakdown.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I talk about is when I first started to go to the rave scene, one of the first times I did acid, and I've done like acid, mushrooms, ecstasy.
Acid at a rave? Oof.
Oh, I love acid.
Oh
I
God.
love LSD, especially mushrooms, and then microdosing.
I only like it if everybody else was doing it.
Oh,
if I did acid and you weren't on acid, I couldn't be around you.
Oh, dude, I would do it where I would take acid and then I would go out in public on my own and like walk through a park. I taught a kid to dive off a diving board, tripping balls.
Wow.
But when I was at the rave, one of the things that I would see when I first started going, I was like, everybody looked so magical and youthful, and it was like this parallel universe of just love and peace and energy, right?
Yeah.
And then as I started to go to the rave, I realized that not everybody leaves and goes home like I do to a normal life and then comes on the weekend to party again.
Sure.
Some of these people
live the
lifestyle.
Live the life, bro. Yeah.
And as I started doing more acid and more psychedelics around these people, I started to see the decay in their face and their teeth and their stuff. And everything started to change for me because, see, I wasn't a part of that world in that sense. I was an outsider coming to party and then headed out for the week. You know?
But see, what's different, that's why I said what separates the recreational from the habitual, because you were able to walk away.
Yeah. Like, I don't think about it. Like, when now with weed, I have ADHD and I get really irritable.
Dude, I know people that smoke weed their entire life and they always will, and that's all they do.
Yeah,
it is all they do. Yeah,
and mushrooms.
Yeah.
I love mushrooms.
If I smoke weed, I'll be at the dope man's house in 2 weeks.
Well, you know, and it's
that's how we're different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I love that self-awareness of you.
Yeah,
it's not even a gamble. It's not even a thought. Like, you are just very loyal.
I know what's gonna happen, bro.
Yeah, and let's talk about that breakdown as I was talking about. How does it become fun and something that you're doing with your friends to the nightmare that you start living?
So that happened quick, man. I mean, high school was all fun, right? High school was fun. We all had blast in high school, like you talked about, going to the raves and, you know, getting light shows and shit like that or whatever. And then you get older and you start having responsibilities. And then that's where the nightmare begins, right? So mine started, I had an apartment downtown and I got hooked up with some bad people. And I wasn't really fully in my addiction. I was still kind of in the high school phase, but I was still like, hey, man, I don't really care about anything other than getting fucked up. I wasn't addicted, but I just wanted to get fucked up. So it got to the point where my electric got shut off. My doorknob straight fell off of the door. And I said, fuck it. I'm just going to leave it like that. I lived on Pitt Street downtown. So it got like that's the point that I started to be like, okay, well, I didn't think I was addicted, but I knew that I couldn't keep doing what I was doing. You know what I mean? Mm. But when the nightmare hit was when, dude, the addicts don't want to be addicts, bro.
Of course, nobody says, I want to grow up and be an addict and ruin my life, have no friends,
they don't
live with the door off my door.
Yeah. They don't want to be that way. And like I said, at that age, I was probably 19, 20 at that age, at that time. And that was still kind of like in that, party phase or whatever. Mm-hmm. But there's a difference between a party phase and I got to do this shit phase. Yeah.
I will get physically
I have
sick.
A fucking family and responsibilities and I got to keep doing this shit. And then it comes to a point where most addict comes to this position where you exhaust your own funds, right?
Yep.
To support it. And then it's like, okay, well, now I have to start selling my own shit. And then when you run out of shit to sell, then it's like, okay, now I got to sell other people's shit. Okay. And some people don't make it this far.
Turns you into a businessman.
Yeah. Now I made it this far. Right. And then it gets to the point where, okay, I don't have anybody else to steal shit from. Now I have to go steal shit from the stores, and you sell that shit, right? So, and then you come up with different ways. And the mind of an addict is incredible, because what you will cook up in your head to get your fix is nuts. Like I said, if you can turn that, like I've done, and so many others have, it's incredible. You're unstoppable, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking unstoppable. Some David Goggins on and go with it, you know? So, it's, yeah. So that's, I think, I forget what the question was before.
We're talking about the progression of.
Yeah. So the progression for me was I spun out of control, man. And,
what is that like? So like, like, for instance, not to interrupt you.
No.
But when you're spinning out of control like that, do you comprehend in yourself, like say like you have a fight with your best friend, and then after the argument, you get off the phone, you're like, damn, dude, that really sucks. I lost my best friend.
No,
like,
no, it's not like that.
So you're not seeing that any of this is negative.
No, it happened, but it's just it's casualty, man. It's just necessary evil. You're in the way. All I care about is the dope.
So that means people,
family,
anything's liable.
Anything's up for losing.
And
you're losing it at the time,
but there's no moral compass. There's nothing that's like, dude, no emotion. Danger.
No,
like what's going on?
Well, it's like, hey, I could do this and I could get locked up, but it's a fucking fleeting thought. And you don't care. And there's, like I said, there's no emotion. There's no emotion in there. You're not thinking like, I'm sad. It's just like, oh, well, fucking that happened. Now let's go get some fucking drugs. That's
interesting. So there's no level of real remorse. It's only
dude, it's the most selfish thing in the world.
Yeah.
100%.
So going through that, like, what's the day-to-day life? Like, so when you're on heroin or on your meth or stuff, what do you do throughout the day? You don't have a job, obviously. You're not.
So for a while, so you do for a while, and when you're not sick, you show up and people say things like, hey, he's great when he's here, or whatnot. So you do okay for a while, and you try to manipulate, master manipulators is what we are. We're very good at lying and very good at on the spot delivery. That goes away, which is great, because I'm not like that anymore, and I couldn't lie if I wanted to, which is crazy, because think about who I used to be. So you keeping the day-to-day, it's exhausting, man. Being a drug addict was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my entire life. It's so fucking hard.
So contradicted to hear.
I know
that.
It's so fucking hard.
It's like, how hard is it to do some drugs and sit in that corner real quick,
bro? I run a multi-million-dollar company right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's fucking easy. Being a drug addict is fucking hard. It's hard work. It's not. It's crazy. It is. It's completely. It doesn't make sense. But to know that you wake up, and there was a time where I would wake up from 8 o'clock and I'd hit, dude, I had a whole system. I had a thing that I would do. And I have charges for all this stuff. So I mean, I won't say too much, but I don't know if I don't want to incriminate myself that I wasn't charged for, but
this is a safe space. Keep it to what you're comfortable with.
Yeah. So, I had a whole system of things where I started, like I said, the drug addict mind is like, I'm going to find a way to get dope. I mean, there was one time where I went in a strip mall and I took all the drain covers off all the floor drains because it's brass. And nobody had a fucking floor drain cover on every strip mall from here to fucking Warrenton. Wow. You know what I mean? And all the Wawas, everybody. It's like, I know how to get money. I'll fucking get it. Right. So that's one of the things I came up with, the quick lick. And so shit like that, you the mind will come up with ways to get money. So it's, I was doing stuff like that. And then, for me, the bottom dropped out, dude, so check this out, man. This is how fucked up this is. Okay. This is how fucked up this disease is. I got locked up and, I served 18 days, scared to death. Right. I'm locked up in jail. I've never been in jail. I've been arrested a lot since I was little, but never spent any time in jail. Overnighters.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Dodge bullets. But the whole time I thought I was dodging bullets until I got older. I realized I wasn't dodging bullets. I was just fucking.
Well, because they all add all those points up.
Well, not just, it wasn't really that. I was just delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, so I got locked up for, let me see if I can remember. Okay. So I got locked up in Henrico, pushing the TV out the door, right? Got chased down, ran to the woods, got chased down by the cops, all that stuff. I get locked up. My fiance comes dealing with the prosecutor. She gets me out on bond. Okay. No, okay. Here, I'm sorry. I got locked up once, and then I got out, and then quick story before I tell this. You know what's crazy about how easy it is to manipulate people and how fucked up the system is? I got out, and I can say this because I'm not going to say the name of the person, but I got a bail bondsman to get me out of Henrico. Okay. I paid her an Adderall.
That's funny.
Paid her an Adderall, bro. You know what I mean? So it's crazy how people are. But I got locked up once, got charges, and I had charges in one place, and then I got locked up in King George. That's what it was. So I had charges over here, got locked up in King George. Okay. She came on the stand for me, said she would hide my keys, and I already have charges somewhere else. I'm already on bond. I'm bailing somewhere else on bond, and I went and caught charges somewhere else. I'm not getting bond. I know I'm hit, you know, but she went up there, said she's going to hide my keys for me. She was going to, you know, keep after me and all this stuff. And they gave me bond. I couldn't believe it. I was so grateful. I walked back into the, the bailiff took me into the back of the cage, and I fell to my knees. I was so grateful. So grateful. And he said, "Man, you got a good woman." I said, "Yeah, I do." Right. So I got home the next day using. The next day.
Okay, so talk about that. So like you get out and then you start using it again. You know what's about to go down.
Yeah.
So do you feel guilty? Do you feel angry at yourself? Like,
so maybe a little bit of guilt at that first point, but after that, shortly now, just once again off and running. And then what happened at the end is I got hit again somewhere else, and then they hit me with like 12 charges, and they laid me down for about 2 years. So, and then in those 2 years, dude, jail saved my life.
That's what my wife says.
Oh my God, dude, saved my life. Like I went through so much shit in there in my head, and solitude is great for a person, especially a man, I believe. And now isolation isn't good, but solitude, it's two different things, right? So solitude for a man is fucking really good. So I went through a lot while I was in jail with my fiance, because all this stuff started coming out and I couldn't protect myself. I couldn't defend myself. It's out. Yeah. I'm stuck in jail. When that phone hangs up and it's a bad phone conversation, that's it. You go sit on it in the cell. You know what I mean? Now you got to deal with it in your head. So jail, I had to pay for patience, if that makes sense. I never had patience, but I had to pay for it. And I paid greatly for it. So did my family. So that's where the turning point happened for me. So a lot of stuff happened in there when it came to, my family, and I started working the NA program before I even knew about it. I was doing this stuff alone on myself before I even knew about the steps or anything. I was trying to make amends. I was working on myself. I found a higher power. I did all this stuff on my own, and then it was like, holy shit, this is already a thing. I was already doing it. That's probably why you know what I mean? And I think about a year in when I was in there, I knew I was going to be okay when I got out, or I thought I was. I said, I think I'm going to be all right. Yeah. Because my cellies were smoking cigarettes. Some cigarettes got in the pod, and they're smoking cigarettes, and they're making beer. And I didn't do any of it. I just sat back and laughed at them, So, yeah, man.
So talk a little bit about life in incarceration and solitude. Define solitude, and then talk about some of the time that's spent in there. Like, obviously you're not on drugs. So, and actually before that question is, how do you go from being an addict to being in jail to not having any drugs to finding your way through it? Like, are you getting dope sick?
Yeah, you get sick for a while. You obviously don't eat for a little while, and especially the food when you first come in. Towards the end, it's fucking fine dining, but at first it's rough. You know, you don't want to eat it, but yeah, you go through the dope sickness, you deal with all that shit. It's difficult, man. It's not easy. If you get hooked up with a cool celly, then you get lucky, you know. But sometimes you might have a fucked up celly, and he's in the way, and he's not helpful at all.
Yeah,
you know. But it's really good to have somebody who's already been there and knows how, you know, how shit's ran and how shit goes down, so they can kind of hip you to it before you fuck up. So that's good. And that's kind of worked out for me too. And I was in there for so fucking long, man. I was in that jail for so fucking long. I wrote letters to DOC like, come and take me, man. You know, please come and take me. This sucks. This jail sucks. Prison's a lot better than fucking jail.
How so? Just
the freedom. You know, the freedom that you have in prison, and you're accessible to more things and different. You can work and learn different trades. You can do things. You know, in jail, you're in the fucking cell all the time, like all the time, most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with that, how do you keep a mindset of going forward in jail? Because
routine. You got to create a routine.
And how do you do that?
So you if you don't work out, you need to start doing it.
Okay.
You know, you work out, you read books.
And why is working out one of the things you mentioned the most?
Builds endorphins, dopamine.
Yep.
Yeah, makes you happy. It's a quick, easy way to make you feel good about yourself, build your confidence. And that's what I found. Yep.
So when you're in jail, is your mental like getting better, like starting to realize like this like pretty much sucks and maybe we shouldn't be doing these things, or like where does like clarity start? Because I can imagine too in the total opposite sense. Now I'm in jail. Now I'm an addict. Now I'm getting dope sick. Now I'm really pissed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy too is while I was in there, like, and I don't know if anybody else has dealt with this as well, but my dope sick while I was in there wasn't half as bad as it was when I was out here.
Explain.
It wasn't half as bad.
What makes it better?
I don't know if it was all the emotions from now that I'm feeling emotions and I have all this stuff going on with my family outside. I'm trying to hold on to them with everything I got, because being in jail is like being inside of it's like being locked in a box in a coffin that's nailed shut and your family's in trouble and you can't get to them. There's nothing you can do.
Yep. Nothing,
you know? So I don't know if it was the adrenaline from that and the change in my chemistry, my brain chemistry from that, but and I cared so much. Some people don't give a fuck. Some people get locked up, man, they don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? They come in, they fucking do their shit, and they don't care. You know what I mean? You can tell the difference between the different people. Like some people, I'll see some people go home, and then a week later they come in like, I'm back, man. And it's like, what are you doing, man?
Like, boy, save me a spot.
Yeah, yeah, it's fucking crazy. But some people, that's their you know,
it's
their
like
life.
The bartender song. I'll probably get 10 years, so just they get here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different life, man.
It's like I know the sun is coming up, and they'll all be asking me on the prison bus where I've been, you know,
yeah.
and I've been on the outside, you know, right on the inside.
Have you ever been locked up at all?
I have.
Have you?
So so when I was young, 18,
yeah,
me and my wife were kind of broke. My first wife, and she was really good at stealing things. And I thought, well, hey, if I don't steal anything and I just watch out, I can't get in trouble,
good, bro.
I'll just say I didn't know. I learned quickly in the court of law that you know, accessory to a crime is just as bad.
Yeah, you know.
Bro.
Yeah.
So with that, I had to spend 3 days in jail, which you know
it sucked, dude. A day sucks.
It's not like you.
It sucks, man.
My wife, but
a day sucks. Yeah.
You know, but no, for me, and I was just telling my friend this the other day, I don't fear jail. I'm a very strategic person, and I know, you know, I feel like I'd be able to adapt and survive if needed be.
Yeah.
What bothers me about jail is like what you said, being bored to death. That's what I care about more, is not having anything to do. I don't give a shit who's in there. I give a shit because I'm going to be bored.
Yeah, I finished my first book when I was locked up. And then then I just read hood books, shit like that, self-help books, just anything, any kind of book, you know, James Patterson and all the big players, just read.
Now, let me ask you a question. The majority of people in jail, and you said, have you been to prison or no?
No, never been to prison.
So how did you know that jail is better than prison?
Because I know people that've been to prison.
Oh, so you guys have
Yeah,
talked. And
yeah.
Oh, dude, that sucks. You were in a box. I got to go.
Yeah.
XYZ.
It's like, it's just a well-known fact, you know what I mean?
So
you know what the worst thing that sucks about fucking jail?
What?
Okay. And I don't know if this is the same thing with prison because, like I said, I haven't been. I guess it never came up when I talked to my buddies. But so the lights don't go off when you go to sleep.
Interesting.
They dim, but they don't go off. So you still got a light on. So that's some shit.
Interesting.
So when you get out and you can actually turn the light off, some people, I guess, you know, have a hard time with that and they still sleep with a blanket over their head. But yeah, it's fucked up.
Now, I will say, when I was in jail for the 3 days, so I've been in jail twice. So the first time was for the shoplifting. The second one, I was doing 116 miles an hour on 81 at 3 o'clock in the morning with nobody on the road, just for me. I was coming back from Virginia Tech from my ex-wife, who I was my accomplice, and she used to go to Virginia Tech. So I would come and see her, and there was just me and this cop at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got a ticket, and I went to court, and they wanted to suspend my license for 9 months. And I told the judge, because I represented myself, I was like,
smart move.
I was like, yeah, I was like, I would like to make a deal. And the judge was like, oh, he's like, you want to make a deal? And I was like, I do. I was like, I'm willing to do a day in jail if you take away the 9 months. And the judge was like, so you want to go to jail and exchange for your license? And I was like, absolutely. I was like, you take me to jail today, and then tomorrow I have my license and we're good. And he's like, deal. And then they took me in, and when I was in this was in Staunton, Virginia, is where I got pulled over. And when I went there, like, they were really nice. They let me sit in the front seat. They didn't even put handcuffs on me after we got in the police car. Very respectable. Because I wanted to go to jail because I wanted my license the next day. So I was more than happy to go, you know?
Yeah.
And when I was in there, there's this guy that came in, and he's like yelling and screaming. He's like, I'll fight everybody. He's like, fuck you. And then I was joking with the guards about earplugs and how they should have those available. And next thing I know, like 2 hours later, he's the dude crying in the jail.
Yeah.
Like,
man.
Tears, you know, everything. And it's just like, where'd the tough guy go?
Yeah.
When I was when I was in jail one time, I met a guy who shot a guy over a poker game. And so when I first got arrested when I was 18, when they took me into the drunk tank, because we got arrested at the store, and they took us from the store to our house first because we didn't know that, you know, they needed a search warrant, and then they went through our house, and then they took us to the jail. Yeah. And when we got to the jail, I was in the drunk tank for a while, you know, with everybody.
Cold as fuck.
Right? Yeah,
cold.
Exactly.
Cold as fuck.
And I asked this guy, I was like, why are you in jail? And he's like, I shot somebody. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, damn. I was like, well, what happened? He's like, well, I was playing a poker game. Yeah. And the guy cheated me, and I shot him, and he died. And he's like, I've been in here for 9 years so far, and I'm just being transferred.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I ask you a question? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, now I don't want you to get mad, but I do have a question. Do you think maybe you're the one that lost the game because, see, you're in jail and he's dead, so he doesn't have to suffer anymore?
Oh, yeah.
And the guy looked me dead in the eyes, serious face ever, and was like, the motherfucker cheated me. And I was like, you know what? He should have died. We should have hung him publicly. Yeah. You were a smart man. Can I get a different seat, please?
Yeah, he's died on that hill.
And then this other guy's like, you see all these burns on my arm? He's like, they're cigar burns. The bigger the burn, the bigger the party it was. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to make it far in life, kid.
It's wild.
Anything like that for you? Like,
yeah. So I was my security level was max when I went in because of some other shit that I had been charged with. Not violent or anything. It just happened to be what my charges were. So I was in the max pods, and that's full of the people that are doing, like, there's some people that were in the newspapers while I was in there. And we were like, oh, fuck, like we'd wake up one morning and look at the newspaper, like so-and-so got, arrested for murder. Like, dude, that's the dude that was in the fucking over there at cell 7 or what. It's like, you didn't even know, so there's but those people, like there was one, I worked in medical for a while. Because when my security level finally got to the point where they allowed me to work, I want to fucking work, because you get 2 trays and you get a little bit of freedom. You get more fucking food, bro. I got out of jail at $1.57. I was small, so so you get more food and you get more freedom and shit, right? You get to live in a dorm instead of a cell, so it's like halfway prison type of shit. And so there was this one cat when I worked in medical, and he was in there, and he had murdered somebody. He was in there for murder, and a brutal murder, and just a cool fucking dude, man. Just real soft kind of guy. You know what I mean? Just gentle, just a cool guy. And you would never think that, like you're saying, you would never some people you would never, like all the people that I met that killed people. There's one dude that killed somebody. He met his baby mama to get his kid, and her new boyfriend was with him when she met him at a gas station or something. And when he walked over to him, he emptied the clip in his chest in the front seat, in the passenger seat, with the kid in the back of the car.
Wow.
Yeah. And I used to trade that dude because I wanted his cheese, because he got cheese. And I used to trade him something for his cheese.
Give me your cheese.
Cool dude, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, just people made bad. Everybody makes bad decisions, man. We're all human. It's just like some people are just about a little bit more, I guess,
Well, yeah, I used to. So in Florida, I used to hang around with the Outlaws, because when I was in motorcycle school, they have a local chapter in Daytona, and I was actually at the Iron Horse Saloon, which is off of Main Street in Daytona, and they were there, and I actually went up to them. I was like, "Hey, I don't want any trouble, but I would, I'd like to get to, know a little bit about you guys and blah, blah, blah."
Mm-hmm.
And they were really cool. And some of them actually became good friends. I was a hang around, so I was never a club member, just the outsider that was invited in, which was a really great experience. But one day I went to go see my friend Cloudy, who was a full patch member, and he's like, "I can't talk right now." And then he just went like this, and then there's a firearm, and he got on his bike and just rode off. You know what I mean? So totally normal guy, down to earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they can take it to that level.
It's wild.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So going back to you, talk a little bit about. So after jail, it was no more. This is when sobriety kicked in and you were done, or there's going back to it?
No, that's it, bro. So cigarettes, alcohol, any drug, obviously besides Tylenol and stuff like that, or something prescribed by a doctor, which I fear all the time. I have nightmares about it. Like my sponsor told me once, he said, because I see people, they get hurt or get injured or they have surgery, and you got to take meds. You know what I mean? So something I'm super afraid of doing. I don't want to do it. So obviously I'll try not to do that when the day comes, but that's it, man. So 2016, and actually I have 8 years clean and sober this month on the 27th.
Dude, congratulations,
thank you.
Bro. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like I said, man, my 8 years doesn't mean anything, really. I learned, if not probably more, I learned probably more from the new person who's clean and sober, because sometimes when they start, they get on that pink cloud and they're like, yeah, you got to do this, got to do this. I'm like, oh, fuck, he's right. I got to do that. Or I don't work the best program, right? I go to one meeting a week, and I don't do my step work as much as I should. I'm very busy, and that's just an excuse, because if I made time for it, I would. But everybody's different. Everybody works a different program. But you can learn something from anybody, just like in your professional field, you can learn something from anybody, somebody who's younger than you, somebody who hasn't been doing it as long as you. You got to stay open-minded, man.
No, I
Thanks,
definitely do.
Appreciate that.
Feel free at any time to respond to the comments. I'm doing better, but I really try to focus my attention so we can get the maximum out of our conversations. the chat really, as you can see,
Yeah, that's great.
is really appreciating
Super
you.
awesome, man. I appreciate it.
So I want to talk a little bit back into the drug state about like more about the day to day, but more about there's got to be a time. And even with me, with like that, like the heavy psychedelics and like the rave scene, and going like every weekend, I was going, stuff like that. Then I started tripping on my own and doing my own things, experimental, by myself. Which I think if you can learn to be, an alternative kind of playing field with yourself, I think there's a great value. And I feel like maybe in a sense, you do kind of get to know yourself a little bit as an addict a lot more. When you go to the things that you've done, like let's say maybe the things that you're not proud about, or some of the most degrading things you've done to yourself or other people for it.
Yeah.
How do you justify it in the mind of an addict? And then knowing all what you know now with your sobriety, could you justify that in your mind today as a decision?
Oh, of course not. No. So I there's a lot where I look back and try to think of who that person feels like, and I can't connect with that person. So that person's just a completely different person. It's crazy. And back then there was lots of justification for it, of course, because it's what I had to do to get the next fix.
Yeah.
And if that's what I had to do, well, that's what I was going to do. Right. So I did a lot of things that I regret to family members more. The stuff that, not to, when it involves me, I mean, that's me. It's on me. You know what I mean? But when you involve somebody else who didn't have a choice, it's fucked up. And that's what you really regret. But at some point, and it's difficult, it's very difficult, but you got to put the stick down and walk away from it. You got to let go of the guilt and the shame, and it takes a long time. But you just can't, you won't be able to move forward if you don't. And those people that you hurt, they don't want you to just feel guilty about it all the time.
Yeah.
They don't want you to live with it, They want to see you thrive. They don't want to see you in misery, but I think your change and, as a person and a father, an individual, a partner, all those things, I think is payment enough for what you've done. I used to always tell people, especially my fiance, I could try to pay you back for what I put you through for the rest of my life, and it wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't. And it comes a certain time when you got to realize that you just can't.
Well, I think maybe,
and you got to live with it, and that's okay, because, like I said, it's about moving forward and not living in the past. So it's not about, that's okay. You can't pay her back, or you can't pay the people back that you put them through, but you can move forward with those people and leave the past in the past. You feel me? Yeah.
Could you say that you becoming your best version of yourself is you paying them back because that's all they ever wanted to begin with?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I think that could be, that could be it. Or actually being
present.
Yeah. So present. Yeah. And so I was there, but I wasn't there. It was just like an empty shell of a human in the past.
Yeah.
So.
And you can widen into that situation and not even be an addict. You can do that in business. And that's why you mentioned it earlier about balance. I spend a lot of time in this house, but I honestly should spend more time with Logan.
Come on.
But like you, what good am I to him?
No.
If I'm not the best version of myself.
Sure.
What I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes that takes that time away, and it takes that sacrifice and that devotion. But like Jim Rohn says, imagine what it would be like if you became the best version of yourself and I became the best version of myself, and what we could do together.
For each other. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For our relationship, for our people that we know, for everything that surrounds us. Now, let's talk a little bit about morals. As a Mason, for those that don't know, Masonry is not a religion. It's about the moral compass and using the working tools of a master Mason, which are like the plumb, the square, the 24-inch gauge, the trial, the compass. But I always find it interesting, and we've talked to a lot of different addicts on the show, or past addicts, should I say, And they're kind of everybody. I feel like in a way has this come to God moment or come to clarity moment where they decide, because what I struggle and I'm learning as I'm talking to people is you have a substance like we've been talking about that causes you to do things against your judgment to other people. No, no remorse. No, like literally, like my tattoo is literally all is fair in love and war.
Yeah, you're using against your own will.
Yeah, and then to go on the flip side to say no, my family's more important. My time is more important. I'm more important. My body is more important. Where does that shift come?
That's a good question, man.
Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, I think it's different with everybody. Everybody, everybody's definition of what's important is different, obviously. So that situation changes. It's subject to subject.
Somebody said, "Proud of you, Uncle Dustin."
Oh, cool. Where's that at?
Lee Thomas.
Oh, right on. Thank you.
Do you know that person?
Yes, my niece.
I don't know how they found my podcast, but thanks for finding us.
That's great. So yeah, it's for me personally, where my change was probably so I don't know when the moment was.
Mm.
It's difficult to say, but I know it happened while I was locked up. It was when I was locked up. I can say that. So I consider myself a religious man, although I've fallen away from him recently and for a long time, and I can personally, for me, I can feel that change when I fall away. So I need to pull closer. But when I found, I'll say it like this, okay, because everybody's different.
Yeah.
When I found my spiritual foundation, is when things started to shift for me. When I started realizing that I can love myself. Yeah. I can love who I am. I'm capable of doing a lot. I could create goals. And when I started working out and started to see the difference in the change that I could do and how I could change my attitude and my own perception is when I think a lot of it changed. I think. And then that opened me up to those phone conversations, those difficult phone conversations, and being receptive to those phone conversations in jail, being receptive to what she had to say, actually listening and not trying to cut her off or, getting what I had to say is more important, So I think those changes in my mind opened me up and made me open-minded for that. So I think that's probably when it happened for me. Yeah. But it all happened while I was locked up. Like I said, it saved my life.
Now, what year, like how many days, how many months are you in jail? Is this all happening at one time? Is it like waking up one morning? Just
about a year in, I think is when 6 months in, I was telling people, man, I'm good. But I think if somebody would have pulled something out, I would have been down. It's one of those things. But at a year, I could say it and be like, oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about, actually, you know what? We're right on time. So this is the first month or the first podcast of the month, beginning and end of the month. We have a giveaway. So what we're going to do is do our first giveaway tonight. And you are going to pick the giveaway keyword here.
Okay.
And I'm going to go get the giveaway item real quick here.
Keyword's Ramalama Ding Dong.
All right, let's see here. Bam. And how do I spell that?
I don't know. It's a good question.
What is it?
Ramalama Ding Dong.
A
llama. Ding Dong. There you go.
I'm gonna make it 2 words so people can spell it easier.
There you go.
Because if not, it's gonna be hard for them.
There it is. That's the one.
All right. So Ramalama Ding Dong is the word. Hold on, I'm gonna put this on the main screen here as well. No, wait, I don't want that one. There we go. I want that one. Bam. All right. And while we wait 1 second, I'm gonna get the giveaway, and I'll be right back here. Stay right there.
Yep. It's an old sock.
We are giving away a Petra Tools Mini Fogger Pro. And for those that don't know, Petra Tools is an awesome company. I use a couple of their different sprayers, from the HD 5000 to the 4000 to their Mini Fogger to their sprayers. And this is pretty cool. This is their Pro version, which is a little bit more advanced. And they are an American-owned family company. And this is a 2-pound sprayer, lasts up to 2 hours, 6-hour charging time, and it holds up to 13 ounces.
Cross that.
Was that?
Told me you had a dirty sock to give away.
Yeah, right. He's gonna win the dirty sock.
Yeah, he's got the dirty sock in the bag.
All right. So all you gotta do is type in Ramalama Ding Dong. Dad needs a new fogger. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna throw something else in. Give me a second here. I'm on my own. All right. I can refresh this. Shit. Oh. Bam, bam. For some reason, it wasn't working and picking you guys up. So try this again.
You spelled it wrong.
Did I spell it wrong?
Yeah. See? Should be an A after the L.
All right, hold on.
It's a common mistake.
All right. Where is it? A after the L. Lama.
There it is.
Perfect. There we go. Now they all popped up. You're also going to be entered to win. That's why soon I will have the professional mic holders instead of putting this just right here. You're entered to win this King Palm hat. You're also going to be getting the Variety 5-pack. This has the Mini, the Slim, the King, and the XL. You're also getting the Game Red Velvet tubes. You also are getting the Peach Pineapple as well. You're getting the Honey Orange. Some of these are their new flavors.
I think I want you to go large screen.
What's that?
I want you to go large screen.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Shizzle. Yeah, right. Bam. All right. So here we go. So this is the 5-pack variety pack. So this has your mini, your regular, your XL, your king, and more. You have the red velvet, which is the game infused. This is a squeeze it and pop it, just pack it. Pretty nice. Terpenes infused. We have the peach pineapple. This one's cool. This one is the sugar punch honey orange. We also got the banana cream. And then we also got the pumpkin cream, which is kind of cool. Bam.
Early fall.
Yep. And then you get the mini fogger as well. All right. We got 20 people watch, 21, and only 13 entries. Maybe we can get GI in the chat to throw in a pack of seeds. GI is my main man. We're the ones that are me, GI, and then Crimson are all putting on the barbecue smoke out. So
gotcha.
You definitely invited.
Cool. Where's that at?
It's going to be in Richmond, Virginia at Homegrown VA, which if you don't know about Homegrown VA, they are a fantastic grow shop and one of our good friends, and we cannot wait to be at their event and hang out, barbecue it out. We got public speakers. I'm going to be speaking about mental health and clarity. We got food truck. Well, I think we're going to have a couple food trucks. We're going to have a bunch of vendors. We got sponsors that are helping, put it all together. We have raised money to fly 2 people, Grownomics, the one in the background right now, doing all the changing of screens and all the conversations for me that you can see right there.
Yeah, see.
And then also Green Year. So what we did is we crowdfunded. We said, hey, we're going to fly these 2 people out and you're going to pay for the tickets. And then me and GI are going to match every single dollar that's raised. And we're going to donate that to breast cancer.
Oh,
so
great.
We've reached out to the Breast Cancer Foundation and hopefully they're going to be able to show up, be there that day, talk, have a booth themselves. And we're gearing up to be donating $1,000 to them, and which we've already raised $749.69 in just 3 weeks.
That's great.
So it's awesome. Plus, we've secured almost all of our vendor spots. Guys, if you guys want to be a sponsor of the show, we only have a couple of spots left. We only have 3 vendor spots left because they've all gone like wild cake. So we're aiming to make this a pretty big event. It's pretty cool how it's all coming together. And it's in October, and we've done this all now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Months and months away. So preparation, devil, it's
oh yeah,
devils are in the details.
That's right. Yeah.
It's something you gotta do it soon.
That's
so
my man, Jordan Peterson.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, let's get back to you after this quick giveaway. So, bam, bam, bam. 15 entries. Everybody ready? All right. Here we go. There
it is.
KJ Munch. Welcome and congratulations. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to come over to madmanplant.com. You're going to go to that giveaway section. So you're going to have to join up for a free membership. You log in, bam, just like so. Log me in. You're going to go to giveaways. You're going to see, did you win a live giveaway? You're going to snag your swag. Also, we're about to upload the brand new giveaways, but some of these are our past giveaways. Like we've done the Cure Puck, an Aero Mixer, Crop Culture Box, Mini Foggers, Hagerzyme, Stash Logic. So a lot of great stuff. But go here, click that form, bam, and I will send you out your brand new Mini Fogger Pro and your now collection of King Palms and awesome swag hat. So congratulations again, my dude. So let's get back to you. And now this is the second hour where if you guys have questions and stuff, we can start to answer some of those. So if you have a question for Dustin, feel free to, start asking. But in the meantime, we're going to be talking a little bit about trust. One of the biggest things that I've experienced talking to you and with other people who have suffered situations like this is the rebuilding of trust.
Yeah.
Because see, you're in a position where you're learning to trust yourself. You're doing all these things. But even with my parents, kind of like I was very ADHD, wasn't a troublemaker, didn't get in trouble with the law too much, more trouble with just them and doing stupid stuff. But one of the things was as you change, people see you as Dustin the addict. And I'm sure it takes a long time. How do you learn to trust yourself? And then how do you get other people to trust you again, especially the ones you hurt the most?
Sure. So I think it's a weird dynamic because there are people that you have in your life that knew you as addict, Dustin the addict. Well, still an addict, just not using addict. And there are new people you meet that don't know that person. Mm-hmm. So you start off trusting. So once you trust yourself, mm-hmm. that's when you can begin to gain the trust of others. And you do that by just simply doing the next right thing. Right. So, what do they say? Action talks, bullshit walks, or whatever that saying is. Talk is cheap, all that shit. I want to see action. Once people see you, like my fiance. So I had all these goals when I got out. I was like, number one, I want to run the half marathon, the Marine Corps half marathon.
Did you do it?
I did. Yeah. So
congratulations.
When I got out, I killed it. I had a pretty good time too. I trained very little train. And I trained in jail, actually, running around in that small fucking square.
With the vision in mind that you'd be on that track one day during the marathon.
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
Was that there or no?
No, that was there. Yeah, that's why I had a goal. And I started moving forward towards the goal while I was locked up. I got out, hit it, and then it just started. I was at my church, supporting my church and donating time, volunteering at my church. I had me working security there for a little while, and then I was at the same time I was going to rehabilitation centers and speaking. To people that were in there for 30-day or however long it was, and doing the home thing and doing. I was doing at first. But what I'm trying to say is when you start to do those things, and a lot of those things come quickly in sobriety. When people first get clean, right, they start doing all that stuff. My situation is a bit different. My first 2 years of clean were locked up. So when I got out and started doing all the stuff that normally addicts start doing right when they get clean, when they're out, I had already been clean for 2 years. So when people saw that I was doing that stuff and I was already clean for 2 years, don't get it twisted, man. When I first got out, I had to have money loaded onto my card to be able to spend it. I was watched, because I needed to be. And but once that time, I don't know, it just hits a certain time where people start to see like, okay, I think he's going to be okay. And now if you asked anybody, they'd be like, nah, I couldn't see him doing it in a million years.
Yeah.
So, and that took time. And like I said, it's almost 8 years. But to get that trust from people and to know that I'm dependable, I'm reliable. Mm-hmm. And I don't want anybody to say that. I want people to say that I can't say a bad thing about that man. Can't say a bad thing about Dustin. I want to, that's where and maybe I'm not there yet, but I would love to be there, Yeah. And that's one of my goals is to just be that guy, So I think, being trustworthy is super critical, and it comes with time, and you got to build it. You got to build it, man. I mean, some people, we all, I see some people, I've been clean for 30 days. Why don't you trust me? It's like, you've been fucking using drugs for 25 years. You've fucking been clean for 30 fucking days, man. I don't fucking trust you. You know what I mean? You've been fucking me over for 25 years. You know what I mean? So sometimes we have to check ourselves and realize that, man, this shit takes time. It took a long time to be a drug addict. Yep. It's going to take a long time to, like, Rome wasn't built in a fucking day, it didn't fall down in a day either. You know what I'm saying? It took a long time. Fucking slip here, miss up there, stuff like that. So it's yeah, it just takes time, man. It takes time and it takes effort, open mind, and they say, you know, open-minded, willingness, and honesty, and we keep that pretty tight to us in the rooms, and it's true, you know.
No, I think that's interesting, you know, because I think usually people have a lot of tendency to fuck up again, or
Yeah.
to make mistakes, and to be that driven and to have those goals. You know, that's why, you know, as a business owner, you know, the power of making goals and setting, you know, expectations and raising the bar for yourself, because it helps you achieve those things so you can become the person you want. You know, like Jim Rohn says, you know, it's not what you get in life that makes you successful, it's who you become. And, you know, becoming that mindset in jail, especially when you're with people who may not see that. You know, these are career criminals. This is all they know. They give a fuck about trying to get better. They're trying to get theirs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I've always wondered that, man. Like, why me?
Why you what?
Like, why me?
To do your life?
I'm not fucking special. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you talk about these career criminals. It's like, it's interesting. It makes you wonder. And I see, you know, I know why you're asking the questions, because you're curious as well. Like,
yeah, oh, absolutely.
Like, what the
I'm
fuck?
learning,
you know, what did you do to why?
Yeah.
You're basically asking me, why are you? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, it's interesting, man. It's so interesting, because I see it all the time. Like you said, career criminals. And I think about people a lot that they've made that mistake, and then they just keep fucking making that mistake. And I'm just like, why did I fucking get it? You know?
I think, you know, well, I think we are, like you said, we're all on a personal journey, especially with, you know, higher power, God, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think your future and what becomes of it is determined on what you accept. You know, like, I'm not saying this is like newfound glory, because this has already been said, but it's like you have a lock on your phone, you have a lock on your door, you have a lock on your car, you have a password on your computer. You know, but when it comes to relationships, we don't put the same protections on who we allow into our lives, how they affect our lives, how they change our lives, whether that's good or bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think to answer your own question, I think even my own self in trying to become a better person, you know, more taken seriously, you know, more proactive, actually making the things I want realities, is when you start to believe, it's easier for you to see a new version, a new life.
Yeah.
When you get inspired.
Sure.
I think when you live in, like, quote unquote, career criminal mindset where you have been institutionalized, your skills revolve around survival.
Yeah.
Not around like abundance of living. You know, you're in a different mindset. And when you stay in that mindset, everything's so small.
Well, I think too, like you're saying, when you stay in that mindset, it's true, but also people, places, and things. If you don't get rid of those people, places, and things, you know, especially the people, like you're saying, hanging around with the no good people, that just, you know, it just pulls you down, man. And it's so true. It's so true. And not everybody's built different, you know. I'm a pretty driven individual, you know, and it's even amongst people who are normals, you know, a little aggressive sometimes. And I think that might be because of, you know, what I came from. Yeah. It may be what I came from.
My friend Crimson says, because you have a purpose, that isn't sitting
in jail. Yeah. Definitely.
So when we talk about, I kind of want to go back to like the drugs. Are there drugs that are like similar and like the feeling similar? And is that why you start gravitating to those different ones? Or have you ever done a drug and not liked it? Like,
so I was never into benzos or barbiturates. I didn't really fuck with those. Okay. I never really liked those. However, I would take those if I was sick, because anything was better than being sick. I would drink NyQuil until it was gone. If I, you know, if it would help me not be sick anymore. Which is, I still to this day don't drink NyQuil or when I'm sick, or when I have the cold or anything that's going to make me feel like that, I don't fuck with, just because of that feeling. And some people do that they're clean and sober, and that's fine. It's medicine, right? Over the counter medicine. But I have I connect it with a different, not only robo tripping I don't know if you ever did that when you were younger, but man, no good, no good, man. So I associate it with that, and just staying up in the middle of the night trying to go to fucking sleep and sitting in a hot bathtub of hot water trying to make my legs not fucking hurt. And there's nothing worse than not being able to sleep when you want to fucking sleep. So, I associate that NyQuil with that. And it's just like, no. Yeah, but it's, I forgot what the question was. What was it?
I was talking about the drugs and like their similarities.
There's similarities. So yeah, I didn't like the barbiturates. I didn't like the benzos. Like I said, however, I would take them if I was sick. But the similarities to it is weird because I talked to a lot of people where their DOC never changed. It was always just one thing. And they call people like me like a trash can addict, where you just pretty much take anything just to change your fucking perception of reality.
Interesting.
And I kind of would do that because I would go on this long stint where I would do Adderall and crystal meth. And then I would be like, okay, now I'm doing pills and heroin. And then I'd go back. And then sometimes I'd mix the two and, and just anything that what I didn't like to be was, so high where I was fucking out. You know what I mean? I didn't like that. I like to be, because the reason I started using drugs, man, and I remember the first pill I took, and I was a plumber at that time. And, the first one I took, I was like, oh yeah, I like this. Yeah, I fucking like this. I could fix the fucking world. I felt like I could fix the world. I could do anything.
Like superhero.
I felt like a superhero. I could fucking do anything. I could do work forever. I'm smarter, all these things, especially with Adderall.
But when does that fade away?
That fades away once you start realizing you're not taking it to get high anymore. It almost fades away instantly, but you just don't realize it. You just don't realize it. Once you get to a certain point and I think once you start hitting that point where you're taking like 30s and stuff like Roxy's and shit like that, and you're past the shit cut with acetaminophen, I think that's when it's like, okay, it's going now. Now I'm just doing this, so it fades away pretty quick. It's like your high is never as good. Your next high is never as good as your first. Never. You try to get that same high forever.
See, that's different with me. Like, I smoke weed habitually, like a lot, like where sometimes I wonder if it's too much in the sense, like, it's just smoking in general is not good for your body. So
yeah, you mean like health wise?
Yeah, like because I have like these nodules inside my lungs and throat that they're monitoring. That was discovered actually after my car accident when I got a CAT scan done.
Because of that?
Well, they don't know, and they're small enough where they're not worried about it.
Yeah.
But if they get certain size, they'll want to biopsy it. So it's something that we're doing. And then for a while, I had lost 30% of like my lung capacity for a little bit. And they put me on like these steroid inhalers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm still on them. But I went back and did my breath tests every 6 months, and I actually gained it back. Actually gained back 33% of my lung capacity, even though I lost 30. So
due to time or medication?
Well, I think it was like the steroids. So
yeah.
The only thing that I worry about smoking, which is why I'm looking at like more like cleaner ways. That's why I like these devices that you see on the table. I don't know if you're familiar with dabbing.
Dude, I'm so old now. No, I think I know what it is. You heat it up with some.
See that nug press? So you would. An easy way is you squeeze your nugs,
extrapolating the
THC,
oils out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you just hit that with a hot nail. But the benefit about that is there's no combustion of plant.
Okay.
So it's just the vapor. So you're just getting what's coming off, like the THC crystals and the true terpene flavors and profiles. Way more flavorful.
Similar to a vape, like a vape.
Exactly.
Instead of cigarette.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're like with the vape, you're not combusting the plant. You're getting it just hot enough.
Yeah.
So it creates vapor, but it's not actually combustion.
Sure.
And these are obviously healthy alternatives, but it takes a lot more weed to make dabs, or if you like do what we do is bubble wash.
Yeah.
So we'll wash the excess, or some people use their straight bud, and you're taking all those crystals, you're drying them out, and then you're pressing that, and then you can make bubble hash, and that's even more pure, more clean. There's no impurities in it, and it's the more of the healthier way of smoking.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the only reason why sometimes I feel like I say like maybe I do overdo it too much, because like when I smoke, I'm ADHD, so I'm all over the place.
Sure.
So with weed, it kind of really helps me like slow me down.
Yeah.
It helps me focus. I feel like more engaged. I also feel like I can be myself a lot more. And in situations where like I'm stressed, instead, like, they were put like right after my car accident. One of the reasons why I have honey is because they put me on heavy depression and anti-anxiety meds.
Yeah.
And it actually made things worse. And I told them that I'm done the pills. Like I'm gonna smoke my weed. I'm gonna figure it out. And then we came up with an idea that a service dog would be good. So that's how honey entered my life. But the whole point is, I forget where I was going with this. The whole point is
the healthy alternative to
the whole point of this is like, I just want to make sure, in my sense, I'm not overdoing it where like, I'm hurting my lungs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the only thing I worry about with cannabis. But back to what we were originally talking about, I still get the same high from cannabis. That's why when some people are like, oh, I don't even get high off weed anymore. Well, I smoke a joint, and I smoke a lot of weed, maybe like an ounce every 3 to 5 days. Right.
Yeah.
And I still get the same high. You know what I mean?
Maybe for you, it's not so much the high. Maybe it's like what you were saying. It levels you out.
Yep.
Maybe maybe that's all you're doing. You're basically sitting on a chair and relaxing and turning on the remote. That's chilling out for you, maybe.
Well, I guess what this is referring back to is you said that the first high in some of these hardcore drugs, you're always chasing it.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that way about cannabis because I feel like I still get to that. Like if I do a dab right now, I'll be super stoned because dab's like a concentrate, right?
Yeah.
And if I did a dab like 3 days in a row, hardcore, on the 5th day, I'd still just get just as stoned, right?
Which is weird because your body builds up tolerances to everything. So the fact that you wouldn't build up a tolerance is interesting.
Well, yeah, and I kind of gauge this because, like, in my own sense, like, a lot of times I take my little vape with me, which is this little electronic device, looks just like this, honestly, and you pop the top, and you can put like maybe a pinch in there, and I'll just hit my pen, so it doesn't combust. I can get stoned off of that just as much as smoking a whole joint.
It's interesting.
But I think what I do is I internalize, I need to smoke a whole joint so I can feel more of it, or I can, get more of its medical properties, because I use it more for medicinal purposes for the ADHD, and I have insomnia and, anxiety and stuff like that. But for me, like, I could just hit the vape one time, or like today, I've been hitting this all day. This is my cart, this is hash rosin. And I've been getting high off of this all day. I wasn't even smoking joints until I got home. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting, at least for me, that the high doesn't change. Like I can still like achieve it. Now there are times where like maybe I smoke a strain that has way more of a higher THC and terpene count, because a lot of the highs and the effects that we feel not only just come from the THC, but also the terpenes. You know what I mean? So maybe it might have something that rates higher than the other, but that's why when you're saying like the chasing, like I've just never experienced where it wasn't good enough.
Yeah. So, I mean, the chasing really, I feel like it's like, for instance, when I moved from, pills to heroin, I remember the first point I got, it was Cat used to wrap it up in lotto tickets, you know what I mean? And I remember the first one I got, and I did like a quarter of it, and I was like, oh fuck, that's a lot. This I can feel that. And it wasn't long after that where points were done whole, And then long after that, it's like, no, it just, and then it just goes on. That's what I was talking about, when it comes to your body building up tolerances. And also with that, I think, especially with things like heroin, where sickness is developed if you don't have it, if the body's without it, or alcohol, stuff like that, especially alcohol. You're at that point, you're not really getting high anymore, and you're not getting drunk anymore. You're just fighting off sickness, and
That's interesting.
you're just trying to be normal so you can fucking go to work. You know what I mean? Or so you can be a dad, or or anything. It's at that point, the getting high is, unless you got a lot of it, and when you're a drug addict, you really never do, unless you're
making the shit,
or you got a lot of money, and I never did. So I think at that point, that's why it's chasing, and you never achieve it, because you're just always fucking, you're just always trying not to be sick. You just want to be normal.
Now, with wanting to be normal, have you ever seen those videos of those people, like, they're shaking and they're drinking down the alcohol, man, and they're throwing up while trying to do that?
Yeah.
Have you been in a situation like that?
Where no, not with alcohol.
That bad?
Not with alcohol. I used to drink a lot. So like I said, man, I would intermingle. I got a DUI I was on Opana, and they gave me a DUI that took too much Opana, and got like 3 car accidents on the way home one time. And the story
runs Wolf on Wall Street.
Yeah, the stories just keep going, right? And I got a ton of them, but anyway, who doesn't?
We got time.
Yeah, who doesn't, right? So I got a DUI, and I got a blow and go interlock system in my car for 6 months with a camera. So every time I blew into it, it would snap a picture of me, because people were getting slick and having other people blowing, and all that. So I was drunk. I was drinking and getting fucked up and getting high the whole time I was on. I was going to therapy too, and I was getting high the whole time out and drinking the whole time. I had it down to about 7 hours where I could stop drinking and blow into that thing where it wouldn't alert, and I was buying piss at the fucking head shop and stopping at 7-Eleven and throwing it in the microwave for 10 seconds, taking it out, wrapping a hand warmer around it and sticking it in my pocket, because my therapy made me piss, right? But they weren't in the bathroom with me, so I would just open it up, pour it in a cup, and give it to them. So you know what I mean? So I was high the whole time and drunk the whole time I was doing that. And I never, what you were asking, if I was ever like shaky and stuff?
Yeah, like, were you ever to the point where you were like making yourself sick, but to get it down?
No, so I would get sick a lot when I would drink. I would throw up every morning. I was drinking vodka straight. Actually, one time and here's a weird thing the addicts do, right? We save shit. Right. So instead of like throwing the bottle away, I would pack the bottles all. Like one time I had tons of these bottles packed in a suitcase, and my fiance opens it one day. She's like, "What the fuck is this?" It's like fucking 60 bottles of empty vodka in there, and I'm just hiding. You know what I mean? It's just weird shit. But no, I never got to the point where I was doing stuff like that with the alcohol. But like I said, I would get sick all the time with the opiates and shit like that.
It's kind of interesting that, because it's like, I don't know if you ever seen the King of Queens, but they kind of made it like a mock version of that, where what's her face, Carrie's dad got addicted to nasal spray.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to hide it all over the house and stuff.
Yeah, they say you could pop positive for amphetamine with nasal spray, Afrin.
Yeah.
Yeah. One time I popped positive for I was getting pills from the pain clinic, and I was also taking Adderall at the same time, and I popped for Adderall, amphetamines. So I told her, I was like, "Oh man, I had a cold. I had nasal spray. That's probably what it was." She's like, "Okay." But then I did it again, and then she took me off the script. Yeah.
Maybe you should change nasal spray.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, that's not gonna work next time.
Yeah.
So okay, so what would you say? Obviously, there must have been good times when you were on drugs. Maybe it wasn't like the best thing.
No.
So you never had like for instance, like on acid, right? I've done acid by myself. I've done mushrooms by myself, and then I've done them in group settings at raves, at parties,
Yeah,
at people's houses.
Right. But like I said, so when I was in high school, doing drugs in high school and doing, other than pot, recreational drugs as an adult are two different things. It's two different worlds. So I had fun back then, but as an adult, I never had any fun doing fuck no, man. I know. I mean, because I bring it down to like,
well, you don't know, people go to drug houses and everybody in the house, because I've been in drug houses before where everybody's on a different drug and they're kind of like together and then they're isolated,
Dude, every time I've been arrested, every fight I've ever been into, I can trace back to drugs and alcohol. I'm just not the guy, bro. I'm just not the guy. You know what I mean? None of it was fun. It was fucking miserable. I lived in a fucking my buddy says it. He's like, I lived in a fucking bathroom. And he's right. Lived in a fucking bathroom, doing drugs on a fucking counter, sitting on the toilet every morning. Had to fucking break the pills up every fucking morning. And then every night before, you're like, I'll save a little bit for the next day. You never fucking do. You do it all, and you wake up, and you're fucking like, now I got to get more. It's fucking exhausting. Dude, I've driven through snowstorms where I should not be on the fucking road and just to get drugs. You know what I mean? I mean, like, I should not be. I'm going to fucking die. But I got to get these fucking drugs. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's funny because, it all goes back to the extreme lengths that people will go.
I'm telling you, dude.
People don't have money to pay for the bills, but they got money for drugs.
Yeah, to go fucking or buy, cigarettes or this and that. It's like, dude, if you just if you just cut some shit out of your life, what you could achieve is crazy, man. What you could achieve is crazy. Yeah, reading some of those comments.
Yeah, feel free to. Xanax is a tough ass one for myself.
Yeah.
My son, cannabis didn't just clean me up.
I went on a ski trip once. I went on a ski trip once, and I got some bars from somebody, some Xanny bars, and I was coming down the mountain, and I didn't think I was gonna make it back to the fucking chalet.
Why?
Because I fucking feel like I couldn't move. I was just fucking on Xanax. I was like, I can't do this.
I felt on ketamine.
I can't fucking. Oh, I've been in some KOs. Yeah.
Yeah. My friend.
They prescribe that to people nowadays for.
I know they have. I think we have a ketamine clinic.
Microdosing. It's crazy, yeah. But in small doses, I guess it's beneficial.
Well, same with mushrooms.
Mushrooms, yeah. That's just great. And I could see that. There's I never. People ask me all the time, "Do you miss doing drugs?" And I don't at all. I don't miss doing drugs. I don't miss the feeling. Sometimes I'll have flashbacks or I'll have triggers, and they quickly go away because I know where it leads. I don't miss alcohol, any of that. There's only one thing that I never did do that I thought like, man, I wish I was able to do that. And I wouldn't do it now. I would never do it. Would never sacrifice anything for it. And it's DMT. You know what I mean?
DMT.
Yeah. And it's only because of Rogan and all them. It's like, this is like the fucking God drug. You're meeting God and everything. How crazy is that?
The only thing with DMT is it makes me really nauseous because of how fast it goes. So have you done DMT?
No.
Okay, so I've smoked DMT. And first of all, it tastes like death. Yeah. It does not taste good at all. It is one of the nastiest things. It literally, I feel like it tastes like death. But we were at a party. So in Bonfire, in Mineral, Virginia, is where we had all of our parties. I was a part of a group called Bonfire Crew. We used to put on huge parties like DMT1, DMT2, DMT3, Firecracker Up a Cat's Asshole, Cthulhu 2, Cthulhu 3. Some really big events. I mean, maybe like 2,000-3,000 people camping out on private land in the middle of nowhere in Mineral, Virginia. And the cops knew where we were, and it was always like a cat and mouse. The first time we ever got our first noise complaint, all of us actually took a picture with the police issuing the citation because, Cutter, the owner, has lived there forever.
See, like, how old are you there? When you're doing all that?
Oh, this was in my 20s. I was like 23.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is like less than 12 years ago.
Yeah, the party fun stage. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when I was doing the DMT, I was sitting in the woods, and it was at night, and what we did is we mix it with weed. So you put the weed down first, and then you put the DMT because it's in powder form. Or sometimes they'd actually have the root, and then they would grind the root. And
is that same as ayahuasca, right? Is it the same? Is it the same
ayahuasca
thing?
is different.
It's different. Okay.
DMT and ayahuasca are different.
Oh, okay.
DMT is what your brain actually produces, which allows you to dream.
Okay.
That's why they call it the spirit molecule, which you can watch on Netflix.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think I have watched that actually.
When I did the DMT, I was taking the bowl and I took my big hit like I usually do, and I literally felt like I just went straight up into the sky. Like it was like being on a roller coaster ride at King's Dominion. That's what made me sick. And I just remember just tripping balls for like 5 or 10 minutes and then coming right out of it like nothing happened. Now, I haven't had one of these out-of-body experiences on psychedelics where I've met God, or like one guy at the party, he said that he did DMT and a spirit took him through the whole Hebrew language and he learned the whole religion during his trip. And I'm like,
that sounds crazy. That's what I mean.
Can I get some of that?
Yeah.
You know, like I've talked to people who said they've had talked to trees and got the meaning of life. And I'm like,
so crazy.
What drugs? Like, when we first did mescaline the first time, everybody's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Everybody's turning colors. And I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Nothing's happening. I took 4 mescaline pills. Yeah. Nothing.
See, I used to go to a lot of those festivals. I went to Terra Alta, West Virginia for the Sunshine Daydream Festival years ago. And then I went to Oakley Farm, had a couple of festivals too. And I went to a couple of those. And that was in the younger, like you were saying, 20, 22, 23. So those are fun times. Those are times but I don't look at those times as being using times. I look at those times as being, that I wasn't addicted to anything. I was just out having fun. And a lot of those are funny memories. They're funny. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of funny stuff that happened. But those are separate from when you ask like using times, those are different, man. Those are dark times. Those are dark times. Those are kind of funny times, and not really finding yourself in the world type, but just being a young person. But I will say, I don't think those times led to the dark times. I think the people led to the dark times.
Explain that.
So the people so when I found out that I liked the pain pills, I found out who had the pain pills. And then there we go. And the people then it just goes from there, and then the drug dealers and this and that, you know what I mean? And usually the people that are selling the pain pills are usually good people to be around, And
then you just formulate friendships with them, and then
they're not really friendships. They're not friendships.
No.
No.
See, like I've had friends like back when I used to buy weed versus grow my own.
Yeah.
I actually became friends with a lot of my dealers because they were actually kind of cool guys,
I think honestly, I think weed's kind of different, man. It's not. So for me, weed's a drug, right? It's a drug. And if I smoke weed, I can't smoke weed. I don't want to, but I know.
No pressure here.
Yeah. And honestly, it doesn't bother me at all. It really doesn't. I've always liked the smell. I really like the smell of different, you know what I mean? You
can live vicariously through me.
So yeah. There you go.
Like, how's the joint? It's amazing.
Yeah. And it's, I think,
try that joint.
I think it's very interesting how it's come from when I was coming up to brick dope, you know what I mean? To what it is now. It's pretty crazy. It's intense to see where it's come. So I think it's interesting. It's curious. But no, it doesn't bother me at all. And I think it's a different space, man. I think it's a different space. It's even in a different space than alcohol, even though alcohol was legal much longer before this.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy to me. So no, I'm for it. Anybody who wants, I don't look down on it at all. I just know that it's not for me, bro.
That's the value of you. And I think that's what's so remarkable is, sobriety is a conscious effort. It's a choice, a day-to-day effort.
Absolutely.
There's a book called The Power of One More, and I've never read it, but I actually carry it around in my backpack.
Nice.
Somebody gave it to me.
Okay.
But I know about the concept of the philosophy which they're talking about. And the book writer's dad was a severe alcoholic, and he asked his dad one day, "Hey, Dad, do you think you'll always be sober?" And his dad said, I don't know if I'll always be sober, but I can tell you that I'll be sober for one more day.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And when he started his business, things were really going south, and they had a conversation, and he's like, so how's that business going? And he's like, I don't know if it's working out. I think, I might just throw in the towel. And he's like, why don't you just give it one more day? And he did.
Yeah.
And everything started to work out.
Yeah.
But it's that power of, in your mind that you'll always be an addict. And that's a bad thing. It's an awareness thing, and to protect your now morals, your family, your business. You're really fighting for your life every day on the front line of decisions. It's just one drink away, one pill, that just,
well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm fighting it. It's definitely,
well, maybe not that dramatic sense.
Yeah.
It's a conscious effort.
I know, I'm aware.
Yeah,
I'm very
exactly.
self-aware of what is at stake.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
And now that you have so much built, I feel, is it correct to say that, does the temptation go away? Does it stay there, like with everything that you have now in place?
So I lost the temptation a long time ago. I can't tell you exactly when.
Okay.
I lost the desire to use.
Yep.
I don't know. I lost it. There are triggers and like places that bring, what I found a cool way to do this, right?
Great.
So places like I've copped or stole or somewhere been associated with drugs everywhere around here. So what I did is I started to replace those bad memories with good memories. So for instance, I rucked from my house in Ladysmith in Lake Caroline with 50 pounds on my pack.
Wow.
From the front door in Ladysmith to the jail, Stafford jail. So it's like 32 miles all the way down Route 1. So all the way down Route 1. Now, when I see any place on Route 1 from that point to that point, that's what I think of. I remember stopping there. I remember stopping at that Fast Barn to grab some Pop-Tarts for some carbs to keep moving. And I remember stopping there to take a break. Now all those bad memories are gone.
Yeah.
So I replaced all the bad ones with good ones. And it was unintentional. I just started realizing I was doing that. I was like, oh shit, that's the trick. That works. You know what I mean? So it's worked for me in my experience.
That's cool. Have you ever thought about writing this down and maybe writing your own book about, your experiences? Because, one thing I do like about what you do is you've inadvertently set goals. And then what you've done is you've eliminated bad memories by creating the new ones.
Yeah.
By actually not just thinking like, okay, well, I'm not going to think about it that way anymore. I'm just going to change my thought. I'm going to do something physical. Just like running that yard, thinking about running that marathon.
Yeah.
And then you're running that marathon,
If I can get across to any addict and they're looking to somehow find a way to break whatever they're going through, I will say this. If working out, and I'm not just saying working out in general, but physical activity, whatever that may be, is a game changer. It will change your life. It transfers over to work. It transfers over to that feeling you get of confidence and completion and everything. That feeling is you cannot replace it. You just can't, because what happens is when you get clean and sober, you got this big fucking hole inside you that you're like, I don't know how to fill this fucking hole. I feel
like you would think the exact opposite. Like,
no,
you filled the hole.
No, man, no, it's a hole, and you're like, I don't know what to do. And some people don't know what to do, and they just don't do anything.
Yeah.
And they think, hey, I just don't have to use drugs, and I'm gonna stay clean. And it's not how it works. Like, you got to fucking work at it. You got to find ways to fill that fucking hole. Some holes can only be filled if you're a believer in God or your spiritual higher power, and that can only be filled by that. But there's that hole that's left from drugs, and you can't fill it. The only way, and it's open. What I found is I filled it with that, and the feeling I got, the confidence in the how proud I was of myself, and I started, for me, it's running, and I need to get back into running so badly. I just started just bulking up, getting big and lifting. And I don't get the same feeling I get from running from I do with lifting weights. It's not the same feeling, but you just feel like a fucking dog. You feel like you're unstoppable and you're just this immovable force that can't be stopped. And when you feel like that, when you found something that makes you feel that way, dude, you're fucking gone.
Yeah.
You're good, you know? And so all I can say is, but I've found in my experience, and I say in my experience, however, I do believe that everyone can tap into this, that physical activity, that when it releases those endorphins and that serotonin and all that, and it makes you feel alive, it makes you feel accomplished, it makes you feel good about yourself, the confidence. Because like I said, what does every successful person have in common? Confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence. They're not anywhere without that. You're not doing anything. So if anybody is looking for something to do, that's what I would recommend. Anything. Yeah.
Yeah. People are here in the comments saying, fill that hole with good morals and ethics. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Yep.
The devil's playground. So with that being said, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring Grownomics into the mix because I bring him into the last of this. And
what's up, guys?
This is Grownomics, by the way. Grownomics has an incredible story himself with addiction, being abused by his father at a very young age, to really changing his life, to providing his family, to being a great friend of mine, to the mod to the channel, and honestly somebody that exhibits just really great ethics and morals.
That's
and
great.
I'm really glad to call him my friend. So this time, what I do now is now that Grownomics is here, is out of the conversation, but I want to open up the floor to you to talk about anything that we didn't cover or anything that you'd like to bring up or say, to kind of just open the floor, and give you the space.
I think we did well. Like I said, stories are endless, and we can sit here and tell stories all day. Every addict's got stories.
Yeah.
But I think I did a pretty good job at kind of pointing out where a little bit about my story. Everybody's story is different.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with that. Unless anybody else has got any questions, I think I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate that because, that's one thing that I try to do with this platform is to create a safe space where people feel heard, they feel validated, they feel like they were to get their message across. And, we as an audience can all feel like we walked away and we learned something and then we got better, and we can use your story just like all the other people's stories that we've told and apply those to our lives as like stepping stones. And then refer back to writing on the wall. Well, how did this guy handle it? Well, here's the story with this.
Well, yeah, I think it's
how did they do that?
Yeah, and it's great. That's like when it comes to the meetings, like you might not think, and I'm one of them for sure. No, I don't have anything anybody needs to hear, but as long as maybe one person hears what you had to say, and they're like, "Yo, that fucking hit me a certain kind of way," I'm taking that. I left with that, and I feel, thank you, and they hit you up afterwards. But what's great about this is, and usually in a meeting or whatever, you're trying to think about what you're saying. I can see why people do this podcast thing. This is dope. I like it.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, I like it. I can dig it. Yeah, I dig it.
Well, I also ran out of the space too. So if you ever want to hold your own,
yeah. Plugging it.
We can get
there's the plug.
We get the plumber's secret stories.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah,
secret stories of a plumber.
Yeah.
All the content that you find in the drains that clog up the toilet.
Yeah,
you're like, I can't figure out why it's clogged. Well, your wife's cheating on you.
Baby wipes. Oh yeah, that's happened, bro.
Really?
Yeah, it's happened. Yeah, not to me, but somebody else I work with. Yeah.
Okay, so as a plumber, let's get down to little dirty deeds here.
Yeah.
What is the craziest situation you've been thrown into?
The craziest situation I've been through, like personally?
Yeah, like something like this. They can't believe this is. I can write a book on this. Like this.
Okay. So, there's a lot of them. I wouldn't say you could write a book on any of them, but I've been covered head to toe in sewer, for sure. That sucked. I've pulled a dead rat out of somebody's drain with a snake machine. So when I pulled it out, it was wrapped around and twined around the cable, and it's the worst smell I ever smelled in my life. It was awful. What else? Been cussed out by people with dementia, customers with dementia, just wild stuff like that. Yeah.
Any what's your most memorable or crazy client? Like somebody, for instance, with real estate.
Yeah.
When I do people's houses, some people will watch me and I won't know exactly that they're watching me. And
Yeah.
I'll be like going around taking the photos of the property. And then I'll turn the corner and they're just standing there like at the top of the staircase. And it freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, just say you're up there, you know?
Well, I mean, you know, it's something similar to that. Nobody wants somebody over their shoulder while you're working. It doesn't bother me too much because I personally like to take the homeowner through the experience. So it used to bother me, but not anymore. I just found when it comes to dealing with customers and people in general, man, just be honest. If you're honest, even if it's bad, you're good. Even if it's what you're telling them is bad, if you're just honest, you don't have to lie. You don't have to think about anything. You're just honest and, oh, hey, this is it. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, I say just that when it comes to customers hanging over my shoulder. Yeah, and I still deal with it, but like I said, I just walk them through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever gone to a house where you're like, yeah, I'm not going to work on
this?
Oh,
yeah. So check this out. Recently, I went to a house, and I won't, say where it was, but it was a rental. And I showed up. The door was open. I went there for a leak on a water heater. The door was open. I showed up, and there was a guy in there wearing gloves, and he was picking up trash and putting it in the garbage. And I was like, oh, they must be, throwing all this stuff in his house away. And like his house is trash. No, he lived there. So I called the homeowner. I said, hey, man, I was like, this house is a mess. I was like, you got way more bigger problems than this water heater leak. You need to come over here. So I scheduled a time for her to meet me. She never showed up and canceled. So there's been a lot of houses where you walking through like a trail to get to where you're going to, because it's just stacks of papers or trash or, move something and cockroaches go everywhere. A lot of that.
Yeah, I used to work pest control back in the day for Moxie Pest Control.
Yeah. But it sucks because a lot of that is,
and I know what you mean by that. People live lives,
but they don't. But you can walk into a house that's clean, but it's just the house, bro. It's the apartment complex. Man, people live clean, but it's like it's just where they live. They can't help it. It's what they can afford. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just bad luck. Gotta level up.
So how did you get into plumbing?
I moved here from Michigan, and I lived with my uncle, and he put me through plumbing school and got my license, my journeyman's, and worked with him, and that's how I got into it. Yeah, and then I kind of jumped back and forth with him, went and worked up north for about 11 years doing commercial work, came back, got real well-rounded with different things, and then hooked back up with him.
You guys are still working together?
Yeah. Became part owner. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's part of that.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's badass, dude.
It's pretty awesome, dude. Yeah. It's sometimes I sit back and it's a lot to take in, where I'm at now from where I used to be. It's a lot to take in, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I bet.
It's a lot.
It's like living two different lives.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. So sometimes it's but it is what it is,
So how do you deal with that?
I stay busy, keep moving on forward, trying to, be a good example for people, the employees. I got great employees, couldn't ask for better employees. They're awesome. Very good at what they do. And, but I don't know how I deal with that, man. Exactly. To be honest with you. Cause sometimes I'll just think about it. I'm like, God, how the fuck did I get here? How did I get here? It's like, and people are like, you deserve it. It's like, I don't want a pat on the back. I'm not that guy. Mm-hmm. Or I get a lot with my uncle who, say, hey man, I'm so proud. He's like, I know, man. But it's like,
Yeah.
No,
I definitely
don't take compliments well.
Well, and I think that's the point of, being determined and being a high level person is you don't recognize check marks and things like other people do. Even myself, like when I land a client or I do something, really great for the company, I don't feel like some people do about it. You know what I mean? Because to me, it's just like, it's just me doing my job, or it's just me being who I need to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. You're doing what you're supposed to fucking do.
It's like,
this is what I'm supposed to do.
I get rewarded. That's what I tell Logan all the time. Yeah. He's like, I should get Robux because I did this. Or like the other day, he was like, I did really good at swim practice, and I should get Robux. And I'm like, no, dude, you did really good at swim practice because you wanted to get better so you don't drown.
Yeah.
Not because you get some free online things. Gronomics, why don't you jump into the conversation here?
Well, I just want to say first off, great story by the way, and
Thanks, man.
Can you turn yourself up? You sound really shallow.
How about that?
Maybe it's me.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, anyways, really great story, by the way. And I always enjoy when we get somebody on the podcast that covers all of Madman's questions very well. So I just want to point that out as well.
Oh, thank you.
I think you pointed out a couple good points too. One of them was when you were saying, it's not about getting high anymore. It's about not being sick. That was something that I didn't personally go through, but I could relate because I watched Melissa, my wife, go through it. That was something I didn't understand. And it took me a long time to understand that. So when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, 100%. It's not even like, But anyways, really great story. And I great. Really
Thanks,
great.
man. Thanks. Yeah. It's awesome to be here. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. If you want to watch a great story, that, just like yours, Melissa and their friend and our friend Flower Child, both really amazing stories. And Mac and Melissa were actually going through addiction at same and different times, and they were both battling a lot of things together because they also have a great child together named Maddox.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because Gronomics comes from a different type of background as far as substance and everything goes, and so did she. And then it was literally two worlds watching one, and the way they've built their lives and their relationships is just incredible because it just shows that the test of time, if you do want to get better, if you do want help, you will accept it and you will get better as a whole. But the conscious effort of wanting it, I think, is the hardest thing to acquire because that's where the sickness comes in. That's where all the bad stuff comes because you have to get over that to move forward.
You gotta go through to get through. Yeah. For lack of better words.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And with us, one of the only times we would get along is when we were high. So it made it kind of hard to not want to get high. I would get high on the hour. I was addicted to meth hardcore.
Oh yeah.
And she was too, but she was also shooting up heroin.
Yep.
So that was the sickness part that I didn't understand. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah. Why I don't get it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it was
you're both basically
crazy.
holding each other up and trying to lean on each other, lean on it. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Crazy. I would destroy my
it was different for
house.
me too because I had my fiance is normal, as we call him or whatever. So she's not and she didn't realize it either, but she I'm sure I was giving off signs, but she didn't know what to look for a lot of the times, until it all came out. She's like, oh well, that fucking makes sense,
Yeah,
that fucking makes sense. You always look like you're fucking high, so.
Well, maybe I was. I'm just kidding.
You know what I did? And this is probably, and I'll tell you this, man, this is probably one of the biggest things that I'm ashamed of. And like I said, you got to put the stick down and walk away from it. But this is still one of the things that I struggle with. I pawned her engagement ring.
Damn.
Yeah, that's that sickness. That's that. And not only did I pawn it, but I shopped around to get the best deal. That's rough.
Have you ever had a conversation with her about that?
Sure. Yeah.
And how'd it go?
It went. It's still a sore subject. You know what I mean? As it should be. It's one of those things that it just shows you what everything's on the table, dude. Everything's fair game. Got to get high.
Yep.
It's terrible. Like I said, that's why when I tell you that it's very difficult for me to see myself in the position that I am at today from where I came from, it's very difficult for me to not accept it because I accept it full. I have there's no ceiling. There's no ceiling above me. I'm fucking going. And if you want to come, you can fucking come.
Let's go.
Because I'm fucking going and we're fucking going. You know what I mean? So that's how my mentality is. We're all going, and whoever wants to come, they can come with me. I'll take everybody with me. But if you're going to be in the way, then you got to stay back. So, it's, but that whole, That's one thing that still is difficult. Yeah.
Is it not so much the acceptance, but kind of like the process of how it happened?
It's
along the way,
yeah,
or-
it's a, I mean, not necessarily just the acceptance, but just you know, there's a lot, I mean, the just the act of doing it and what I would do, you know, that what that thing meant,
Right.
what that ring meant,
Okay.
you know, and it's like, yeah, I'd put that up for the drugs. I traded what that meant for the drugs. That's fucking rough, man. That's heavy.
Oh yeah,
That's heavy. It's heavy. So, yeah, man. Just but day by day, day after day, man. That's what we do. Yeah. How long you been clean for?
Maddox, my son is 3, so probably just over 3 years now.
That's what's up, dude. Congratulations.
Yeah, dude, congratulations, Gonomics.
Fucking
thank
big
you.
deal, dude. It's a big
Dude,
deal.
I noticed as soon as I got clean, everything just started falling into place. So,
yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
It took me like a week. It took me about a week straight of sleeping and eating nonstop to start to feel like somewhat normal. And then after that, my life, like, hey, I got a great job, and then all of a sudden I got the place, you know, and just everything started happening. So that's when I realized, I got too much to lose now to even think about going back. I don't even.
You know, I was in the fucking way. That's when you realize you're in the fucking way of your own damn self.
Exactly.
No, that's great. I love hearing that. And it's usually what people find is it's rare that people, I mean, people do get clean and they're like, I just still can't get ahead. And it happens, you know, it does.
Well, then there's those people that also need like a support team for a while. There's different types of people that like, I think kind of handle it. Like me, I don't really think about it. And then like my girl, she still thinks about it. Sometimes needs to be reminded. And that's completely understandable. Me, I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm done. So I'm a little bit different. I think there's, it kind of depends how people are with it too.
Yeah, I know. Like for me, like I said, I go to one meeting a week. Okay. It's my home group. And I've been going there since I got out. One of the first things I did when I got out.
You do a 12-step or
I'm on my 7-step. If it took me 8 years to get that far. Like I said, I don't work the best program, but I do my best. I don't do my best, but I do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like to lie. I'm not gonna say I do my best when there's much better I could do. What I don't do is people say I don't have time. It's not true. You're just not making time for it. You're not cutting out time for that. You're putting it somewhere else. So there's always stuff you can do, right? You can manipulate time. So I don't like to say that, but what I know that I go to one meeting a week, and I found that if I miss 2 meetings in a row, that's when I start to get squirrely. I'll be at the neighbors cussing them out. Yeah, that's when I start to break off a little bit. You know, so that's like you said, everybody's different. That's my edge. I need those people. I need that. I need to go in. I need to hear some stories. I need to hear a little bit of hope, a little bit of experience. Like you said, I needed some Easter eggs to take home with me. You know.
My podcast is full of that.
Yeah.
So,
I've already been checking it out.
Really?
Yeah. Of course I did, man. I'm coming here. I'm going to look you. I'm going to check you out. I'm just going to show up blind.
Some people come on this show and barely know who I am.
Nah, man. No.
Talk to people on the, the convention show floor who barely ever heard about us.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
I love it. I think it's great. I like what you do. I like how you intertwine the two. And you're very aware that people can do this, and there's some people call it California sober. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Cali sober.
Sober. Yeah, and that's cool, man. And dude, if you can do it and not lose everything, then fucking congrats. You know what I mean? That's basically where I'm at.
Well, in fact, cannabis has made this platform.
That's what I'm saying. Look at you, you're thriving. Yeah. So that's like I got a buddy that says as soon as somebody comes to that door and they say they can use and not lose their house, their car, their family, then I'm fucking using drugs again. I'm gonna ask them how they did.
That's awesome.
I mean, I'm like, yeah, I bet, dude, because we're fucking professional drug addicts. That's what we do. But we can't do it, you know. So if you can do this and not lose everything, fucking awesome.
Well, see, since 2013 to now, all I know is like you, just like working business, making money. Because see, like you, as a business owner, there is no supplemental income. Like I don't get a government check. I don't get any money.
Yeah.
So like you, if I'm not out there hustling, things will get shut off real fast and things will go away. And I'll be like you at the pawn shop selling my shit
and
my soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, your head hang low. Yeah.
for me, I just think with ADHD, people have their different opinions. Some people say that some people think I'm a little bit slower with it. I don't think so. I think for me, I move at such a high rate of speed. I need something that can like bring me down.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you, and I can see it, just talking to you, and a lot of people in here that are watching. We're very high functioning, a million miles a minute.
Totally.
Spinning our tires till we're literally touching the rim.
That's why I drew to Adderall and meth so much, because the way I used to put it, at least at first, it was like this. Still, I got out of control. At first, it was the way I could explain it, where all cylinders were firing. All cylinders.
Everything.
Yeah, everything's firing. Like you could ask, I got fucking. Like my mind's like super mind. It's like I'm fixing shit. I'm answering questions. That's probably not how it was going, but it sure felt like that. So, yeah. So I think that's why I gravitated towards that. One of the reasons that, and like I said, everything. So,
I'm just glad that you're here with us and that you came on, because my biggest thing is I'm really trying to involve my local community. It's one thing to talk to all these great, beautiful people that are watching us right now, independently online. But when I can bring like traditionally like an outside person, like I met you at the networking group, right?
Yeah.
And we met as business owners. We didn't meet as, cannabis or anything, until obviously I talk about Madman Plant because that's one of my companies. But to bring people in that are, either different thinking, they see different things different ways, they're business professionals, they're in the community, and they spend a lot of time like you and me outside of the cannabis space as well as I do. And it's cool because it really helps me, like my tattoo that I got done, which the second skin bandage. This was done last Wednesday, dude. Feel that?
Really?
Last Wednesday, this was done live on TV.
Wow.
Already healed.
Looks great.
And look at the color. Nothing's feeling. Look at all the small lines.
Man, I want to get some more tattoos.
Emiliano, the owner of Black Horse Tattoo.
Okay.
Come to the Fredericksburg International Tattoo Convention, July 26th to the 28th.
Yeah.
I will be there with my 10 by 20 foot booth. We're going to be sitting down doing interviews of people who are getting tattoos about mental health and smoking cannabis. So obviously a lot of people go there for tattoo therapy or to commemorate something. So we're looking for people to talk about their mental health and how they use tattooing as a way of expression to deal with their mental health. And then ultimately, how many people in the cannabis space that have tattoos in the tattoo space smoke cannabis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there, if you want to get some tattoo, they're going to have international artists there. It's the Fredericksburg Convention Center full of tattoo artists. You should come out and think about getting some new ink. And then I'll personally introduce you to Emiliano.
Oh, that's great.
The owner who will be here as well.
Yeah.
And he's doing another tattoo on me and another podcast at the convention. So I'd definitely love to get you in the right hands because dude, look at his work.
It looks good. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
But what my whole point of the conversation before that was, it's breaking down the stigma one joint at a time. Like I am with you.
I got you.
And we can talk about it and we can bring perspective and knowledge and background and really add to like a narrative. Whether you don't do it or do it, it's not the point. The point is it's about the mental health. It's about the clarity. It's about the understanding and how together all of us watching can move forward to get to what we truly want. And I think that's all the best version of ourselves. At least I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah, I know that goes back to that open-minded thing I was talking about. That's it. You got to remain open-minded, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Grownomics, let's smoke one more joint and then we'll close it out.
Hell yeah. Sounds good.
So just a little bit more background. The barbecue smoke out October 12th.
Okay.
I'd love for you to come down. And if you want to be a keynote speaker and share a little bit about your story.
Oh, man.
Love to have you do a little 15-minute. We're going to have the whole setup. So we'll have the backdrop, the booth setup, all the microphones on the table.
Yeah. See, he's a green and sober. Yeah.
Green and sober.
Yeah, do your thing, man. Do your thing. As long as you're not fucking losing everything, you're good to go,
Oh, yeah. Look, let's see here. We got Joseph in the house. Girls Make It Grow. Nubs. The Soil King. What's up, my dude? Spanish Stray. Root Nerds. They let me talk about Root Nerds real quick. Mark from Root Nerds, which if you ever get into cannabis growing or honestly any plant growing, house plants, his device cuts down the germination rate sometimes by weeks for these traditional house plants and things. He's donating 4 Aurora Plus V3s to 4 of our contestants. So at our barbecue event, we have the ribs, the pork butt, the smoked chicken, and the brisket competition. So if you want to enter to be a competitor and to cook some meat and see,
I wish I can't. I'll eat it.
Well, all the food the food is free that day.
Oh, that's great.
A to Z Meats, one of our sponsors for the event.
Yeah.
They're donating up to 300 people's worth of meat that I'm going to be cooking and handing out for free the entire day. The event's free, the food's free, and we're all about breast cancer awareness. Yep.
Yeah.
And
are you guys doing free mammograms too? you in the booth?
If I was single.
Yeah.
I mean, I checked with Lacey. She might be cool with it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Be like, listen, I'm not exactly sure, but these feel great.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. Everyone's I don't know.
Yep, but they feel wonderful. Yeah. All right, rolling.
That's too much.
I have my bong up there. I wish I had some more dabs on me. I'd show you how this beautiful technology works. This is the Puffco. So the difference between this and this is this uses a torch. You hit this for like about 30 seconds. But you don't want to hit it too much because what you do is called Chaz, and it'll turn black and nasty. And then you have to heat up really, really hot to burn off the Chaz.
Yeah.
And then this is the exact same thing, but it's electronic. And I carry this thing everywhere when I travel.
Crazy how it's gotten the way it is.
It really has.
Nuts. I remember when I did smoke. I was never a really big smoker, I guess. But when I did smoke, I remember I bought a Chong bubbler. A Chong glass back when they had Chong. I don't know if they still do that, but
oh yeah, I think they do.
Do they? They still make?
Yeah.
I got a buddy that moved to Utah. It was Oregon to blow glass. He's a glass blower.
Oregon, they got some amazing cannabis up there. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a long time.
I got some amazing cannabis.
So what's really cool about the Puffco too is I have one too, and you notice how I have a different attachment.
Oh yeah.
So you can interchange different attachments on the Puffco too. That's what's really cool about them.
It's wild.
Oh yeah, dude.
The Bluetooth and everything.
Some of
fucking Bluetooth. That's wild, dude.
Oh, you set it on your phone.
That's ridiculous, man.
The temperature, let me know when it's ready.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
And like the style that he has, those pieces that go on top of here.
Dude, I was smoking weed out of a fucking soda can.
Oh, we done that.
Yeah.
The first time I ever tried smoking weed when I was older, we used an index card and we didn't even grind up the weed, and we were trying to like use it chill, and we wound up smoking the index card more than the weed. It was quite crazy. So guys, while I finish this last joint and hanging out here with Dustin, you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask. Definitely want to get you back on at a later date. But this has been an awesome time.
Yeah, that's cool. It's been great.
Oh, yeah.
Time flies by.
Oh, it does. That's one thing,
crazy.
The constant conversation doesn't feel like it's been that long,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, it's wild.
Everybody says that on my show.
And you usually do them from the studio?
Well, so this is brand new. So me and my friend Ada for Grow Tent, he's a good friend of mine. He helped me paint the walls, and we put up the TV was already here. See, last year in my basement, I did $30,000 out of here doing 3D printing, right?
Yeah.
So we were in 13 different countries, and then I didn't want to be a print farm anymore because I'm getting more into the motivational self-help / motivational speech. So my goal is to be on stage in front of 4,000 or 5,000 people, planting seeds for them, helping people escape their 9-to-5s, helping those people that know in the back of their mind that they were made for something else, but they feel like they can't escape.
Yeah.
Where they are.
Yeah, find purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And since I feel like I've kind of found mine through my attempt at my own suicide story and then almost dying in 2020 in a whole car accident that could have wiped out me, Logan, Lacey, all in 1 second. My whole point is like, why are we all here? And my thing is, I want to make sure that I encourage other people to live their life, because as somebody that could have taken themselves out and then almost died in an accident.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on?
Exactly. There's
obviously, what am I supposed to be doing?
Exactly. Obviously, there's something that I was supposed to do, because see, with my accident, we were driving down 95, actually going to Homegrown to vend an event for Madman Plant. And semi truck was here. I'm here, and up there's that Honda.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the semi truck came and kind of veered into my lane and then corrected. So I kind of got back. Well, as it was going up, it's going up and going up. It got to the side of the Honda, and I'm further back, right? So lane 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
He goes over like this. Nothing happens. We're driving down the road. 5-10 seconds go by. Nothing. So I assume what really happened was he was here and got behind the car there.
Yeah.
What really happened was when he came here, he turned that car sideways.
Yep.
So now that car, that truck are going 70 miles an hour.
Pushing it.
Those wheels are still turning at 70 miles an hour. While we're driving, this car breaks loose from the front of the guardrail of the truck, spins out 360 degrees, and comes right dead. And I hit the driver's side panel door like that. And we flip about 7 or 8 times, and both vehicles land upside down in the ditch. Here, I'll show you a picture. In the ditch. And when they talk about those things where there's always something you can do. There's always time to make a sudden movement.
Nah, man, I've been in accidents like that too. Yeah.
Bam, and that's the car I hit. And me, Lacey, and Logan walked out of there, and Lacey's mom, the one you met upstairs,
Straight.
She was visiting. We all walked out of there without even a scratch on our body.
Yeah.
All the doors popped right open. Now, the other guy that we hit had $250,000 worth of medical bills and was severely injured, but lived. Everybody lived. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a law. It's a hit and run law. And the law state that I'm trying to get passed and want to work on is when you have a hit and run situation, you have 2 miles or 45 minutes, which I think is more than enough or an excessive amount of time.
Yeah, 45 is a little bit
to report the accident. The reason why that exists is if you were to have an accident in a public situation, there may be people that are very angry and that could become violent based on the accident or what exactly happened. People lose their shit when other people get hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the person did feel like their life was in danger, it gives them an out to go somewhere and then make the phone call. So if that took them 45 minutes to get through a crowd,
sure,
or they're crying compulsively and have to get themselves together, it gives them the right thing. If you don't comply in those 2 mile, or I think honestly should maybe be 30-minute time frame, it's an automatic felony. Because my point of this conversation is accidents happen. I totally get that. But it just like in the court of law, they can still charge you on intent. And I believe that when my accident, the truck driver never stopped. They found him 2 miles down the road on the side of the road sitting there. And when the police came and found the trailer, both drivers said they didn't know what happened. But yet it was all captured on their dash cam camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just played the fool and the idiot. They weren't going to say anything. They were going to wait it out.
Yeah, dude, we're fucked. What are we going to do?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Not once, and this is in the police report, not once did they call the tow truck company.
Yeah, of course
not once did they call their trucking company. Not once did they call 911. None of them did anything.
Yeah. They
sat on the side of the road like cowards. And that's what should be punishable. It's okay that mistakes happen. Unfortunate bad things happen to great people. It's just a way of life. I believe it's what you do after that really shows your intent.
Oh, absolutely.
The fact that
absolutely.
you would cause a horrific accident like that, and you had to see in your rear view, you pushed the car like this. There's no denying what you did. And then you didn't even stop. You just kept going and totally disregarded the lives in those vehicles.
Yeah, what do they say? You can't be held accountable for what you do, but you can be held accountable for what you do after it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever been in a hit and run situation or anything like that?
So I've been in a lot of accidents, man. I've been in I rolled our old Corolla like 3 times on Route 1.
Was this why were you on drugs?
Yeah, oh yeah, nodded off, and then rolled it, and then it landed on its side, on the passenger side, and so I was awake, and I was fine. It clicked my seatbelt and fell down, and stood up and was looking for my phone, and then I was looking for the drugs because that's all I cared about. That's just how crazy is that? I just rolled a car 3 times. All I care about is finding the drugs. So to the point where after the car got towed away, I went there the next day. And I found the drugs. They're on the side with all the fucking debris. Lottery ticket sitting right there, wrapped up in a lottery ticket. I was like, there they are. Sweet. Lucky day. Yeah.
Lottery ticket hit.
No, it was the ones you fill out. You know what I mean? That's what they used to use. But yeah, so that was fucking crazy. And I also hit coming back from therapy one night on Route 95. I ran into the back of a Scorpion truck. The construction trucks, when they have that big thing that turns off the back for when something does hit it.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I hit one of those doing about 50, and that was all slow motion shit. Totaled that car. I've been in a lot of accidents, man. All drug related. Did
you get DUIs each time, or were you able to get through?
No, through it. I was high as gas on both of them. The one I said I veered from hitting a deer, and they took me to the hospital, and I found out they wanted to get a blood test, and I left, and nothing ever happened with it. And then the other one, I sat in the car with the cop, and I was on meth, and I told him what happened and everything. I had a perfect story, and he's like, all right, cool. And then let me go. Yep. And all the other ones are just like fender benders and shit like that. Yep. Been a lot of accidents. A lot of accidents, actually.
I've been fortunate enough to not really be in any. I've been in one. I wasn't driving, but that was it.
Yeah. Been in a lot.
Agronomics caused an accident.
Huh?
Agronomics caused an accident with a rock.
Oh yeah. What'd you do?
He was on the news.
What'd you do? Where were you a kid?
Agronomics, tell your story real quick.
So it's always gets brought up. So this guy was following, this is at my old apartment complex or whatever. This guy was following Melissa home, I guess, and he had his stuff out, like, and was, while driving, like, flashing them and swerving.
Oh, nice,
like, yeah, and she's on the phone with me.
Jerking it.
Hey.
Nice, yeah, I got you. Great.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, come home. You know what I mean? Like, this dude followed him. It's like a 20-minute drive. Followed her all the way there, and so I didn't want to, like, shoot the guy or anything, so I went out and see if he's actually going to pull in. This dude really pulled in. I went and found the biggest boulder the biggest rock I could lift up and find. And they pulled in, and then I stepped right in front of his car, and I threw that rock as hard as I fucking could and went straight through the windshield and scared the shit out of him. He accelerated, and I moved off the side. I had brass knuckles. I tried to punch him through the driver window. So in the video, the second pop that's really loud, that was me trying to punch him through the window or whatever.
The video.
He took off. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a video
on
YouTube.
The whole interviews on there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Did they arrest you for that?
No, because I was fortunate enough to have a girl cop for them who showed up, and so she understood, and I was like,
yeah. She was like, I wish somebody would do that for me.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not going to look into what you did. I'm going to take it as you're protecting them. I was like, yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, that guy had his thing going out, man. Get him.
Yeah.
Just
the fact. So just the fact that he had no disregard if there's children in the car and you're doing it to random people, that's dangerous.
No, dude, he had his kids in the car with his dick out.
No. I'm just saying he had no regard.
Oh my god.
like, you know, I mean, I could have had kids, and like she could have had kids in the backseat, and he's not even thinking about that or anything like that. So to me, that's like, and you're doing it to a random person, pulling up, that you're dangerous. You're out in public doing that. You're a dangerous person. Anyways,
fucking menace, man.
They ended up finding his license plate on the fucking camera lights or whatever. Found out where he lived. I guess he was living with his girlfriend or something, and kid or something, and she kicked him out or something. They arrested him. They released him, but since the media was involved, they revoked his probation, went and picked him up again, and now there's a whole case. And I guess he did this before at a party city that he worked at or something like that. I don't know.
Yo, at a party, at a fucking party city. So, come on, dude.
But you know, I just wanted to send a message with, you know, I don't know. I just kind of was like, nah, I don't like that.
Yeah, so, there's nothing wrong with what you did. Yeah, it is what it is.
But I was also lucky too that I also didn't hit him with the rock, because I probably would have killed him if it, like, I threw it so hard in the video. Like, people thought I shot at him. Like, that's how fast I threw the rock.
Yeah.
And then I'm also glad that this guy didn't have a gun either. He could have, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. Fucking party city. It cracks me.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? Fucking party city. Wrong kind of party.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
So this is your first night on the podcast ever.
Yeah, it's the first podcast I've been on, yeah.
That's right. I'm keep up in that body count of mine. A little bit sad I didn't get you to cry. I'm trying to get at number 12.
Oh yeah, I don't cry, man.
12 people on the podcast stuff.
I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it's just that I don't know.
I cry a lot. I feel like I cry more as an adult than I did as a kid. Maybe I just don't remember.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't cry, man. I don't know what it is. For a while there, I was like, am I just a cold motherfucker? And I was like, maybe, I don't know what it is, but I just don't. I don't know. I just don't. I just don't. I did. Hold on now. I did when my dog passed away. I cried.
Well, I already, those tears are already.
Oh my god,
how he is.
Fucking
that's rough. Yeah. That's something I don't want to think about. Just the thought of it when it comes to Honey, I will like
That's one of the times. That's one time where that happened. When that happened, I for a brief moment I was like, man, I know it would take this pain away. You know what I mean? And as soon as it came in, it was gone though. But yeah, it was rough.
Wait, what am I hunting for? What am I hunting for, Root Nerds?
Oh, somebody to cry, probably.
Oh yeah, crying. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, not this one. Not this one. Don't have it in me. Sorry.
Oh, it's not to be facetious. It's just, you know, one of my biggest thing is, in my own sense, and I've said this a couple times, you know, there's a song by One Less Reason called Where Did You Go? And One Less Reason is one of my favorite bands. And I'm trying to get the singer, which is, it's funny, his name is Chris Brown, to be on the show. A lot of his songs revolve around his ex-girlfriend's suicide.
Oh, yeah. It's rough.
A lot of them. And in the song, Where Did You Go? Kind of like with you, with that kind of like the empty hole type deal. I kind of feel in a way like I have my own empty hole and I'm trying to fill it. You know what I mean? And in a selfish way, I feel like by getting people on here to tell me about their stories, just like the lyrics go, when I was looking for a change in you, I found a change in me that I didn't see. So I feel like by being able to do this work with people, in return, I will learn about them. And then in return, they will teach me about myself. And then I can kind of replace that emptiness with the conversations and the value that we will build together. Because, you know, I myself come from a place of, you know, being, you know, isolated as a child, you know, being bullied, picked on, not having a lot of friends. Even today, I still don't have a lot of friends. But, you know, in a way, that's actually an asset.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is I was once lost. You know, I was once hoping that I would find my purpose. And through the value of talking to other people, creating my own brand, empowering myself, building my own business, learning to be resilient, learning to be vibrant, learning to deal with rejection, learning to deal with, impossible tasks. I feel like, therefore, I'm rebuilding the broken person that I am / was. And I'm not even to where I want to be yet. I look at myself like, you're not shit. There's people that are half your age that, are doing way bigger things. But I think what we have to realize, just like with your own relationship with a God or a higher spirit, is you're on your own personal journey. The value of what we get out of this is making the conscious effort day by day to build that life. Like what we call in masonry is the house built with no hands. And it's kind of like that mindset, that mind built without failure. When you can dedicate your life and yourself to yourself.
Yeah,
I think that's where the real birth of evolution comes from. And you have to protect that, because that can also get burnt out. It can die, it can come and go. A lot of things can affect that. So
well, you gotta train your mind like a muscle, right? So
yeah.
Some people like it's like paying rent, right? They use that analogy a lot when they go to the gym. You got to pay rent. So you got to pay rent on your body by going to the gym and working out to keep what you want. You got to pay rent on your mind by mental aerobics, essentially mental acrobatics. Sharpening your mind and stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, and also the mind, dude, is fucking incredible. So and there's a couple people I follow. One of them, his name is David Goggins, and he's a fucking savage. Okay, he pulled me through a lot when it came to pushing through goals, breaking through obstacles and shit like that.
Yeah.
But the mind needs to be sharpened all the time, and discipline is the biggest key behind all that. Like if you don't have discipline, like they even say, like when you wake up in the morning, right, make your bed. Yep. Because that's it. You're starting your day off with accomplishment already, even if it's just something fucking trivial like making your bed. Just make your fucking bed, right? Or you can transfer that to something else that's small or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, so you can do little things like that to sharpen your mind and keep your mind fresh, keep your mind aggressive, and always looking for more. Like you said, some people they get stagnant. They just begin to float in life, and I could feel myself begin to float, and I don't like that feeling.
You know what I call them?
What?
Okay, it's my term. If anybody else tries to copy it, I don't really care, but it's mine first. It's publicly said on my platform. Call them snow globers. And a snow glober, snow glober is a person who their life is the same. So every year it's the same sad story. They're still the victim. They haven't moved on.
Okay.
A lot of it never changes. Just like that perfect picture in the snow globe.
Yeah, I feel you.
We as movers and shakers are constantly shaking that snow globe. And that's why the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is so diverse. And when we speak of, like, even with networking groups, and that's the problem with like 212 that I figured, realized is in your situation, you're different. So, you're in need and a necessity. Well, people have to have plumbing.
It was not so much that, right? So this is the way I look at it, right? And everybody has their thoughts about 212. I have fairly new, so obviously mine are going to be skewed a bit. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with plumbing.
This has to do with real shit.
That's what I'm saying. So I wasn't just there to meet people that needed me to fix their shit. This was a door that opened through that I didn't even know was there.
I know.
Yep.
How crazy. That's what I mean. So 212 is like, and these people are on here to listen to what I have to say, which is fucking nuts. You know what I mean? In my head, you know what I mean? That's fucking crazy. So, and I met you at 212. You know what I mean? So I remember it's divine intervention is difficult for me, or like destiny and all those things, or predetermination. I kind of with all that, right? But I do feel that you're in control of your own fucking life.
That is true.
Okay, so I had a choice to go there, and I chose to go there, right? Whether or not we were both meant to be chosen to go there at the same time. I don't know, who knows, but but I do remember you saying, I just had somebody on my podcast that was speaking about heroin addiction in my ears, because our ear hustling, right?
Yep.
My ears perk up. I'm like, fucking addiction. I was like, I'm gonna tell this motherfucker that, and I got fucking some ears clean. And I was like, then maybe we can relate to some shit. And then you say, yo, let's go on the pod. So that's how it all happened. You know what I mean? So, and that's all through 212. So, so for me, where I'm at right now, I can see how I was supposed to be there at that time. For some reason, I was supposed to be there. So it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it nuts?
No, it's crazy how the universe brings us together. But what I was more so saying is, I think the level of where the snow glober comes in, is where I think a lot of people, and not trying to be disrespectful of anybody in 212, but a lot of them, like, it's not their company. It's not necessarily their name on the
no, it's
line.
not. No, a lot of them are just working for companies.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I feel what you're saying.
So the level of
dedication and heart,
more bigger, vast.
It's not there.
It's not there. It's. Did I do everything I need to do? Am I being great in my company?
Check.
Exactly.
Ticking boxes.
And that's what I don't like.
I understand what you're saying.
For me, I want to find the person like you who's like, no, dude, I went to hell and back, and now I'm here to get more than I ever dreamed of. By becoming more than I ever thought I could be.
Been through it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And back to the snow glober, as movers and shakers, we're constantly shaking this up, and it wreaks havoc on their world because they can't understand the level of growth and determination and skill set and all the mindset that really goes into it, because there's a difference between being an independent contractor and that's your name and that's your business. And if you fail, you could be on the streets. Like it's living on that borderline that not everybody as an entrepreneur experiences. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, we're creating the weather, essentially.
You're pioneering
by shaking the snow globe. Yeah, we create the weather. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's a different way to look at it. I like that. Yeah, they're not all. There are a lot of. I wonder if they make a space where it's strictly business owners.
So the place I joined, BLN, that one you have to be a business owner, and most of those people are motivational speakers, they're brand owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, everything. You come to the event. I'm a member now, so I can take you for free. It's coming up in July. Just come with me and just get a feel for it.
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, I'd like.
What I like about it is they offer monthly coaching, they have workshops, they have the virtual networking, so you meet people out of state and the other networking groups, because they have like St. Louis, Miami, a whole bunch of different chapters are always adding more leadership team. And instead of just the networking, it's actually like, oh, you want to do this? Okay, well, here's John, and John can help you with public speaking and doing this. Oh, you want to do this? Well, here's a nonprofit owner. He can help you do, blah, blah, blah. And it's more of what the owner of the company calls, emotional intelligence. This is what we have, what is it called? Something servants. Can't remember the name, but the idea is everybody in that room is driving their business, is the leader, the owner, the shot caller. There is no, I work for Kurt and I'm the the lender. What I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I think it'll be better for me, only because as a production company, my services can be a lot more expensive than I think a bookkeeper or your average realtor, can afford.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not knocking it. For me, I wasn't able to find exactly what I was looking for in it. So, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's what's up. Cool.
Agronomics. You want to add anything before we jet out here?
No, I'm just sitting here listening and agreeing to everything you guys are. Yeah, definitely relate to a lot of this.
Cool.
So.
Well, I do want to shout out real quick before we go. Agronomics, the man, has designed the Madman Plant jersey with the official smoke, with the barbecue smoke and smoke out logo on it. You can order these on my website. I'll have these up tomorrow. And what's cool is you can get your name custom put on the back of it. So Greenier, Gronomics, myself, and all of the main sponsors that have signed up are all going to receive one. And you can buy this on the website and we'll put your name on it. 10% of the proceeds that are collected are going to be added to the charity drive. Our goal is to try to get as much money as possible. My goal is $1,000. We're already at $749.69.
You'll get that.
As soon as the 10th comes, please start, promoting the barbecue smokeout. In the meantime, what I really need you to do is promote Little Witch's Garden Shop, Dan and Valerie. We're at, I think, just under $1,600 in less than a week, and we need to reach $2,000 to help save their shop. So please, any money, any post or anything now until the 10th, they need it on the 10th. Please do that for me because they are great people and they deserve to have their shop. And when I go to Arizona in February, I need somewhere to hang out. So I know they're watching in here, but I want all the money to go to them. You guys have been doing amazing, and just in less than a week, we did under $1,600. Sorry, I'm getting all over the place because I'm getting tired. But that's all I wanted to say. Dustin, thank you so much for coming tonight.
Yeah, man,
being here.
Pleasure.
I really hope you had a great time.
I did. I
and we definitely want to have you back. Everybody else, make sure to follow us online. If you want to get connected with me, I'm always in my Discord, which is the SmokeBusters Discord. Come in there, chat with me, hang out. I am not good on social media. You have to understand, and Dustin will confirm, as business owners, we are gone all the time. So unless I'm posting on social media, I'm really not on it. So if you want to build a genuine connection with me, please join our Discord. And you get to see me with the mask off, and we get to build a great relationship. So it's all about relationships. Gronomics, thank you for everything that you do. Guys, we will see you Sunday where we'll have the 3-camera setup. So Sunday, Paul will be here and 804, and we'll have more angles and more stuff coming your way. We'll see you guys soon.